Don't forget, heads, you can tune in to the BeardSpeaks audio podcast every Monday, Friday, and every weekend on a variety of platforms, including Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and more. Hashtag BeardSpeaks is the name, and if you can't find it on your favorite platform, you can always find it on anchor.fm/BeastHostBeard. Like, favorite, subscribe, and leave a positive review for your motherfucking boy.
What up, heads? It's the Beard Without a Brain. My name is Chuck Reeves, and since 1979, I've been the motherfucking East Coast Beast Host. Salute and fucking all the flame emojis you can bang out on those keyboards for all my subscribers. Please, if you're here watching this video and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'm telling you, it's really, really, really worth it. Over 100 new subs have joined us since the beginning of the new year. The more subs, the more content, the bigger shows, the better and bigger guests. I mean, you motherfuckers get it. To all my haters, welcome back, hoes. We out here. And to all my Patreons out there, I love you. I feel like maybe this once a month extra content thing isn't enough for you guys, so I'm going to be getting ready to step that shit up over there very soon. Today, on the 207th episode of the Beard Hour of Power, this time too, my homie Jordan Stevens, he's a bassist and vocalist for the metal ensemble Our Shadows. Jordan was another guest pull from my personal Rolodex and my personal circle of friends, and it really fucking showed. Over the course of nearly 2 damn hours, we talked about a lot. We talked about cats. I fell down a conspiracy rabbit hole, and he discussed some stories cultivated from a life lived as a bona fide motherfucking rock star. From being part of a rising act only to leave before they really popped through. Thousands of miles touring to the crazy life of a band on the road. We ran the gambit. So strap in, heads. This is kind of a long one. Make sure your phone has a full charge. I give you, without further ado, episode 207, Concerts, Cats, and Conspiracies. The Beard Speaks now.
Oh, come on, he's a miserable cocksucker fucking asshole. You hate him, admit it.
I haven't really, since I was a kid, really, I didn't fuck with, like, the ICP, the Juggalo culture, or anything like that, really, which was Twisted and stuff like that. So I didn't know about the branching out and, like, Twisted.
Oh, that's one of the things I wanted to get to. I know you, on your extensive touring, rubbed elbows with some people who rub elbows in my scene, and that was
so funny, dude. It's so funny how that works out. Like, yeah, like, even, like I got to tour Whitney Payton, and, like, I'm not sure how.
The fact you knew Supreme.
Dude, yeah, my fucking boy, Supreme Burrito, man.
Of all the random shit, the guy who was going to fight Stitches, I was like, Jesus. I was like, then obviously that Warped Tour thing must have some reach and some... Because I also thought your music and your genre and what you were doing, that, you know, wise with that, was one thing. And then with people like Whitney and others... It's
weird because, like, the way it worked out, so... We only did like a couple dates of Warped Tour, so we weren't really like anything specific. We weren't like on the tour itself. A lot of our friends were and stuff like that. But really, what happened was, my old band, It Lives at Breeze, when Franz from Attila made his own label, we ended up signing with him. And what Franz is doing, he's a smart guy. He's trying to integrate, because like the Juggalo culture and the metal culture, there's like, you know, it's only like 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah, if that.
So he was really interested in mixing that kind of group up. And not only that, he did his own rap group. I don't know if you've ever seen his own rap shit.
No.
Fucking, like, I'm sure he kind of, like, you know, try to keep it under wraps, but we did a tour with his rap group. That's how we ended up with Whitney Payton.
Okay.
And, yeah, so, like, we had a lot of good opportunities doing, like, you know, because of Stay Sick. You know, and that's kind of actually, this signing is kind of why I ended up leaving the band to begin with, was because a lot of when people start signing contracts, things start getting real weird.
Things do start getting real weird. I know, you know, I did my background on you
We know each other personally
Yeah.
through your brother, who's strangely enough the unofficial third Dope Man for anybody out there who's familiar with that Dope Man project. This is Jordan Stevens. He is the brother of Jay Earn, the third Dope Man. But he's more here because he's an artist, a lyricist, a singer, a bassist, an overall touring musician in his own right. And I know, being from Rhode Island, we have a weird music scene here all around, across genre.
Yeah.
So you linked up with some guys from Providence.
Yeah, so I guess like my old band Elizabeth Breeze, we've been playing for years and years and years and years and years and years together. Like, you know how long I've been playing. We used to talk about music all the time. I lost a bunch of weight at one point.
A lot.
Yeah. I used to
Oh, yeah.
and I started like my older band Patterns of Myra started getting like popular, or locally popular. I wouldn't say popular. And some of my old friends from back in the day were like, "Hey, we're in this other band Elizabeth Breeze. We're doing a lot of touring and all this other stuff. Would you be interested in like screaming for us and playing bass?" And I was like, it's a good opportunity to get out on the road, do all that kind of stuff. So we fucking just put our noses to the pavement and just toured like a motherfucker. And then eventually we ended up on a tour where we found out that Franz was making his own record label. And we were in. The guy who used to be in Artery, his name is Mike Milford. Big name in like in our genre. Awesome guy, one of like the most realest dudes I've had the opportunity of like, being a team with. But he saw us out in like, what was it, Colorado? I think we were playing in Colorado with this shit room. There was nobody fucking there. We had this fill-in drummer that was just like, I'm not going to get into it, but it just wasn't jiving with this whole situation. And somehow, some way, he just saw what we could have been, and they took a chance on us. So we ended up, getting with Stay Sick Recordings and releasing our album and stuff like that. But we had, with that aspect, is we had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of cool touring because of Franz and like because of his connections. So we ended up, Franz did like that, like I was saying, that rap tour that he did. It was just him. It was called Franzilla.
Okay, all right. I think all right.
And he had like a couple of rap people on it and a couple of metal people on it. So it was like us, this band called Palisades, which is actually doing really good. I don't know if you've like seen like on rock radio. They're getting up there now. Awesome dudes too. But it was us two, and then it was Whitney Payton and Franz on this tour, and like Supreme was with Whitney Payton.
Yeah, Whitney's always had this weird multi-genre appeal, I guess you could say.
I honestly, that girl, I have so much respect for her because like even like getting to tour with her, getting to hang out with her, getting to talk to her. Like I know some people like to throw hate sometimes at that, but she is one of the most realist human beings.
I was one of them, and I know me and you had a conversation where you kind of cleared me up on a couple of things as to how real of a person Whitney was. So when I saw her later, at first there was a little weirdness because she had gotten wind of some things I had said, and she was like, but I did talk to some people because we have some mutual friends, and I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And I was like, I explained myself to her and apologized where it was necessary, and me and her are super cool now.
Dude, it's so like I've had so many weird experiences. Like I went on a tour with a bunch of YouTube kids.
Really? Like who?
Yeah, this band called it was a kid. His name was Richie, and his name is called Social Repos. He did a lot of those like vocal covers and stuff like that like ended up popping off.
I can't believe how big covers have gotten, to be honest with you. You think that shit would have gotten in the way.
It's a little frustrating, but yeah, like it was him. He does like a bunch of those covers, and then there's a guy named Stephen Joseph who was like he was a trans he was what's it called? What word am I looking for? Transitioning to be a female.
Okay.
But she was in her own right was like a huge YouTube star as well, and that was the tour we went on just before like the last tour that I was on with Elizabeth Breeze.
That's crazy, man. Like so especially weird. Now with the YouTube stuff, there's podcasts I've never heard of selling out, like the Wilbur Theater in Boston. Yeah. I just went to Venus de Milo back in December for a podcast called Kill Tony that they weren't even expecting to sell 100 tickets, and it sold out 1,000 people in like their largest room, and it's like a banquet hall. It's not even a venue. It's a little ridiculous the way the internet's going. That's what I'm hoping for. I got to be honest. That's what I'm hoping for with this situation to some regard, or at least being able to turn it into a touring product.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? The expiration date on this is far further in the future than the expiration date on my rap career.
It's so funny that you talk about that kind of stuff though, because like even like us being adults now and like being older and like still doing music, it's like when does it stop? Like when do you get the break that you finally deserve, or the break that you think you deserve at least? because like we've been grinding for years doing music and shit like that, and it's funny to see like you'll see these kids. Like I've been on tour with a lot of people now, and I see bands that are fucking just far beyond anything you see, like on that are blowing up on even fucking the radio. And these, like, there's a perfect example is this band that I toured with called Sycamore, right? At some point, you should check this band out. They are fucking crazy good. The singer is just like, he's got like I don't even know, like chocolate voice. It's so good. He's amazing. And band kills it. Every single night, slayed it every single night. Never got a chance. They got signed to like a decent record label, and they just shelved them. And it's like, and then you see bands that are like half as talented, and they're fucking just getting money dumped into them just because like the singer's pretty or something.
Well, isn't that the way it goes now, though? I mean, what we have now, and I'm seeing on a mainstream level as far as rap, is what I'm calling plants. So I'm sure you guys have the same sort of thing. So for example, somebody like Taylor Momsen, if we're gonna stick in your genre or within that wheelhouse at least, I feel she was kind of a plant to some regard. Because she had an existing level of fame.
Yeah, and I think that you'd be dumb not to jump on that. You know what I mean? If you had the ability, like say you blew up as a podcaster, right? But you wanted to further your rap career, I mean, I think you'd be an idiot not to use that platform to accelerate your...
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the rap, I mean, I'd probably, at this point, I've made the decision I'm never gonna, like, sit down and seriously try to write a rap song and try to, like, move people with that. Because I found that I'm better at doing it this way.
Right.
But there is a record in me. It's a comedy record, and it's not what people think it is. And it's songs like "Don't Fuck With Me While I'm Eating" and shit like that. But like, I see people, and they take like an underground route, and one of them is this guy Joyner Lucas, who is
fucking love Joyner.
Okay, then we can have a fucking good argument then, because Joyner. All right, so Joyner, he's from around here.
Yeah, probably.
And he ripped off a bunch of locals. Like
Really?
I'm talking about 2 years ago. This happened.
Okay.
And then he had me jumped in Worcester and took credit for it on the internet. This is like the funniest story involved in my rap career so far.
Well, I don't know. There was that one story you told me about getting tased and fucking...
Well, that was all my personal shit. That was due to substance abuse. This was due to like rap shit.
Gotcha.
His manager and a couple of his goons showed up at a show in Worcester and tried to like...
Straight up.
Just beat the fuck out of me. It didn't work out for them. But I would have never known who did it.
That's crazy.
Until I got home.
Yeah.
And then I got on Facebook. And Joyner's online on Facebook taking credit for shit. It's all up on my Instagram. And now he's up for a fucking Grammy.
That's crazy.
He's a plant. He was a plant. Because what it was he comes around and he's showing up at grind mode events, which are underground events. And he's opening and he's got no fan base. But he's showing up in a van that's wrapped with tons of merch, tons of promo and shit, okay? Yeah. We find out he already had like $1 million behind him. Well, fool, you're not underground then. So what are you doing showing up? Yeah. And then why are you ripping off locals for $1,500, $2,000 here and there if you got $1 million behind you?
Right.
So like him catching on, that was a money play. Like that's exactly what you were describing. Like I can break down every step of that dude's career, why it was fraudulent, or who got the bag and who's got the receipt kind of shit. Like, literally, I have a fucking issue with that kid.
That's so crazy to me. That, like, because, again, like, you have to understand from my point of view, I don't know this internal shit, so I see it at face value. You know what I mean? Like, personally, I love the new Eminem album. You know what I mean? That's how I ended up even hearing about this guy. Threw on his album, checked it out, thought it was pretty sick.
He's going to be huge, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll see if this, whatever level of success he has, pans the fuck out. I mean, if he wins, he ain't going to win. Because he's up against This Is America, first of all, for the video award. Yeah. And then I have a problem with the cause rapper thing.
It's getting kind of weird. Like, I appreciate people who are honest with that kind of stuff and who are, like, deeply, like, trying to change something and trying to do something right. You know what I mean? But in the same breath, it's like, at one point, are you just monetizing that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why, like... You see one guy do it, and you're like, "Oh, it's a good idea."
Oh, the joke for a while amongst hip hop people was like when something major and happened. Like somebody made the joke of when's Joyner gonna write a song from the perspective of the girl that R. Kelly peed on. And you know what I mean? Because those are his songs. It's like, oh well, I didn't get bullied, but here's a song about a kid who did, and aside from a few VIPs and some free show tickets, I know he didn't really pay that kid.
any kind of royalty. That kid's still around.
Which one?
Ross Capistrano or whatever. He's got like the first big song Joyner had was this song about bullying,
Gotcha.
where this kid almost got killed, but the kid was still here.
That's
And he
cool.
wrote this song and named it after the kid, and then like didn't kick back nothing.
Yikes.
Used his story and everything. I'm just whatever. He's gonna be huge. I can't stop it. Hopefully, Token's gonna be huge too.
That's another guy I fucking love.
Did you see that new shit? He's
No,
got this
yeah.
new one out called No Service.
No, I haven't heard that yet. It's so funny because some of the shit that like, some of the rappers that I just check out randomly is because I'll see you post some like just being like this fucking idiot and like, to say some shit about it, and I'm like, I gotta see who this is. Perfect example, that fucking, I don't know, this was years ago, I'm sure, and at this point, this is how long ago it is, but Blase Rose.
She's still around. She's still fucking Joe. She's still fucking
Yeah.
Joe's life up.
But like, I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, because again, like back in the day, I used to be an ICP fan, so like I knew ICP, I knew Twist, I knew some of like the smaller guys like Blaze, You Dead Homie and stuff like that.
I just hosted a show with him last week.
Yeah, and like it's just kind of a cool concept when you're younger. You know what I mean? My view on the music industry is a little bit jaded now, considering what we do and like, you know what I mean, seeing the internal workings of it. So it's not as grandeur as I thought it would be, obviously. But it's just cool to see that kind of shit. And then like I saw you talking about Blase, I'm like, I know who this chick is, but I'm gonna listen to it now because Chuck's saying some shit about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what certain people don't. Certain people get mad, and it's like, no, you don't get it. I do serve a purpose.
Yeah, and it's funny too, and I've actually learned this my own route too, because the way my old band blew up was like some dumb shit that we probably shouldn't have done, but we did it, and it ended up working out in our favor. So it's like the fact that, and I'm not saying that I even like Blase Rose, it was just an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was very weird and not really up my stream, but I was like, okay, cool.
It's not of anybody's stream, apparently.
but like I checked it out.
She's still behind on recoupment, my man. She's
Jesus.
still trying to recoup.
Yeah, but yeah, like my old band Lives a Breeze, we when Nelson Mandela died.
Okay.
What's his name from Fast and Furious? I can't remember his name.
Paul Walker?
Paul Walker died, and then they killed off Brian in Family Guy.
Okay.
So this was all within the same week.
Right.
And we found a meme that was Paul Walker driving with Brian in the back seat and Nelson Mandela in like the passenger seat, and we posted it on our Facebook.
And that's what blew your Facebook up?
Bro.
All it takes is one thing.
So, dude, we were in Chicago on tour, right? And it's fucking so, our van doesn't have any heat. Like, we're just fucking freezing our asses off, scraping ice off the windshield, like just trying to survive the fucking winter. I don't know why we were touring in the winter. It's fucking stupid. But I don't know if you've ever done that before, but don't. And anyone listening who's planning on touring.
Regionally, I've done it before, and it's a fucking nightmare. I mean, I'm going to Detroit in 3 weeks, and that's going to suck.
It's going to suck ass, yeah.
But
yes, we posted this, like, we just posted it, because at one point we noticed that memes were catching on. This was a couple years ago, so. We posted it, didn't think anything of it. We were having a party at our friend's house in Chicago, drinking some beers. We wake up in the morning, and we're like, yo, our Facebook is blown the fuck up. Like, we started, and not even an exaggeration, we were getting, like, almost 1,000 likes an hour.
really? Jesus.
An hour. And we were getting, like, 2.
And you found this meme. You guys didn't make it?
Yeah, someone sent it to us, being like, you should post this. And we were like, that's fucking hilarious. Even though, again, now in this day and age, with, you know what I mean, how things are, people be super offended by that.
Well, they wouldn't. Okay, they'd be super offended if you were already on.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I think there's still some flexibility, some freedom of people on the come up. But once you agree to play by those rules, you can't violate them. But up to that point. But now even that's changing. Because people have to look out for shit they said 10 years ago.
Dude, like, and that's you're right. Like, the band that I'm in now is a band called Our Shadows, right? And I'm not gonna like dive too much into it because it's like at this point I'm just beating a dead horse. But basically, we found out our guitarist was doing some really stupid shit, like, and it was over years ago. You know what I mean? Like, he had a checkered past. We kind of invited him. Well, we joined the band. I didn't know his past at that point, and kind of found out a lot more bad shit about this kid. And we kicked him out the first time. He came back. I was like, listen, dude, like, I'm like a bleeding heart for people that feel like they can change. So I'm like, I want to help you change. I want to like change you. I want to help you get to where you need to be, get into like a psychologist, stuff like that. Also, I'm like much older than him, so I'm like trying to, like, you know, his parents passed away when he was younger, so there's a lot of things like that. So Took him back into the band. We're trying to get him worked out. Motherfucker bounces on us for another band. We took our entire album. We had a whole album written. So we had a whole full-length album written for this year. Gone.
And you had to shit can it.
Yep.
And now you're on hiatus.
Yep.
So you've just been writing in
So,
preparation for what's next?
Yeah, I've been trying to communicate with the guitarists and stuff like that are sending us some music. And we luckily, like with like the connections that we've had through touring or meet through touring and stuff like that. There's a lot of homies that I find on Facebook that are like, hey, check this song out. Let me see what you think about it. We have one kid that we're talking with right now that might be interested. So, but yeah, dude, like that kind of shit will fucking ruin your life. That could have buried the band if I didn't kick that kid out the first time. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, I feel you, and that's I've dealt with situations like that before. That's why, in my opinion, my group projects have never worked out fully, because it's like, man, I always got it. For me, it's always been easier to be like, they call it being a Ronin. Shouts to my homeboy Sam Tripoli. You're a Ronin. If you're a shogun without a master, if your master has died or been killed, you are a Ronin. You have no allegiance to anybody but yourself. So that's how I feel about me. I couldn't be in a band, like, because you've been close a couple of times. I mean,
yeah,
to like really breaking through.
I mean, like I would consider my old band Lizard. I would say that we broke that, that middle stage at least.
Oh, that video y'all put out was some high level,
the
glitzy, yeah, that like, and it did the work.
Yeah,
you spinning the microphone around and the whole nine, like it did the work. And I was like, wow, that's I remember when we first saw it, Duddy was like, oh, you see Jordan's new video, and I was like, damn, somebody had a sound stage and a budget, and this is not what we're doing at all.
And truth be told, honestly, like the way that the music, so the things that you find ways to make things legit, and also too, if any listeners are trying to like get shit like legit, like do not half-ass anything, because people see it and they don't buy it into it. It's kind of like your image, all that kind of stuff, your videos, but you can find people that are doing videos for like 2 G's. Like that video was not crazy expensive.
All right.
The guy who did it for us now is like much bigger than he used to be. So obviously he's charging more, but like you can find those up and coming guys that are doing like videography and they want to like just do a pet project and stuff like that. And if it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. We scrapped videos before where we went to like, we drove down to fucking New York City, did a whole video shoot.
See, I think that's what a lot of independent artists can't wrap their brain around either, is like, well, I laid the money out for it. And it's like, nah, sometimes you just got to say fuck it and not use it.
Dude, it sucks so bad because we went through like a lot of shit. We had to like, it wasn't a very like big concept video. Like we just it was like a live performance video with some like edgy things about it. Like we had a bunch of broken mirrors on the walls and stuff like that we had to bring ourselves to New York, put them on the walls, get these lights. It was just it was a disaster. But we got the video shot. We're like, okay, fuck yeah, this is gonna be sick. A couple weeks later, we get it like the rough draft sent to us, and we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is dreadful. And so we were like, yo, this isn't legit at all. Like, we cannot use this. Like, can you please try to re-edit or do whatever you can do to make this video look halfway decent? And he sent us another cut, and it was like just trash. Like the video quality, like everything.
He just threw a filter on the whole thing and like blurred it. He just blurred it through some flashes.
And the guy that we did it with like has some rapport with like other bigger artists too. So we were just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what is going on? And then at a certain point, we were just like, dude, like keep the deposit. We can't use this. Sorry. And like that was that. You know what I mean?
Fuck that. Like, jeez.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the higher you get in the game, the bigger the problems do become, like that for sure. See, I feel like I've lucked out because with podcasting, it's like a radio station, and radio was biggest audio. So as long as you kind of try to nail the audio a little bit, the best you can, the video options are always extra.
Right.
But that's what people with short attention spans want to see.
Yeah. True.
So you did the Warped Tour thing. You said you toured with Attila's Rap Side project.
So, like,
where have you been? Like, was it regional? Was it more nationwide?
I mean, in my old band, Elizabeth Breeze, we toured for about 4 years, like, nationwide, like, consistently all the time. Like, we were out for, like, months at a time. And it's just, like, we did a lot of, like, like, nose to the pavement touring, like, playing those shows for fucking one people. Like one person, dude. There's like what was it? We did our own. we did our own tour where we just went out and we just wanted some, like, locals to support us, right? Like, it doesn't matter where you put us in the bill. We don't care. We'll open. Whatever the fuck you want us to do. We'll just be on this bill. Put us on the bill. Give us like $100 for gas, and we'll call it that. And we ended up in New Orleans. We got in this local band, and they were like a bunch of like older guys that just wanted to play the metal. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, we're gonna sell this fucking place out. It's gonna be sick. You know what I mean? We're like, oh, this is gonna be a sick show then. It's only us two. Like, this is gonna be kind of like wildin'. There's this place called the Hangar, which is like a legitimate,
like an airplane hangar,
like legit airplane hangar. And like, well, this is gonna be fucking sick. So we went down there. We went to Bourbon Street. We partied. We were like just having a good time. And we get to the venue, and I walk in, and there's one person, and I'm like, yo, and they were for us. Luckily.
Oh, I was gonna say, is he wearing a band shirt? He's just like,
no,
this is in the
like,
front
it was
row.
like this young girl and her father, and they were there for us. And then we went to the back of the venue, and like we're in like, you know, like a 15-passenger van with a trailer. We're not like, it's not glitz and glamour, dude. Like, we just sleep in our trailer. You know what I mean? And we go back there, and they have like this whole bus. Like, I wouldn't say bus. It was like a shuttle bus, and they had like a bunch of their friends partying, drinking in the back, and all this other shit. And I was like, yo, where are all these people you were just talking about? And they're like, oh, they're coming. It's like, nope, we played for one motherfucker in that giant airplane hangar right in the front. And it was like,
that's gotta be.
But we went so fucking hard for that one person. I'm like, yo, I don't even care.
Oh, you make a fan for life.
Yeah.
That's the point and stuff like that. You gotta turn out that person and make that person a fan for life, at least to make that show worth it.
Yeah.
For fucking sure.
But
so did you pop off anywhere other than here, perhaps? And like, was there a marketable uptick in attendance to the shows in certain regions?
Yeah, I mean, like
as you said, you were in Chicago at some point partying. Did you have bigger followings in other cities?
like
because Rhode Island, in my experience, Rhode Island is not friendly.
No.
And overall is not a place to shine.
It's definitely like it's definitely a club mentality where if you're not in the club, then they don't give a shit about you. And a lot of that really kind of is dictated by whether or not you play by their rules. So, like, if you don't go out and support every single local show, if you don't go out and, you know, buy your friend's album, if you don't go out, which, don't get me wrong, like, when I have a friend's album, like, my friend just got signed, actually, I'll buy their fucking album, hands down, to try to help them out. But, like, if you don't play by these exact rules in this local scene, like, you're basically an outcast. Like,
yeah, they ostracize you.
Yeah. Same thing with, like, I've been, like, my band now is mainly based out of Chicago, not even a Rhode Island-based band. And you see the same shit. If some shit goes down, you're out, dude. Like, sorry, like, we played a show after that whole guitarist bullshit, and we, like, even had a different guitarist in the whole thing. That show was, like, just shot.
No
like,
shit.
No one gave a shit about us. It was just like, damn, dude.
See, I guess then you just see, yeah, I guess that's where we're in different boats. Because at least with a band, you can reach out to different musicians and try to recreate something.
Right.
It's not going to be the same thing. No. Clearly not going to be the same thing. But like if I go out there and I do something stupid, boy, it's going to be real hard for me to rehab my government name kind of a situation. It's not like I can go out and get another Chuck to do the show. I mean, that would be the dream for sure. Hey, new Chuck, do the fucking show. Right. But
let me lick my wounds in the back.
Like, damn.
It's
yeah, people forget. People hear, oh, I was in a signed band, and they forget. No, the work is not over. The struggle is not over.
That's when it begins, man. Like,
especially now.
As soon as you sign that contract, you better be ready to fucking roll.
Especially now. I mean, with digital, everything's changing. Do you feel like your job? Okay, first of all, because I was trying to pinpoint. We used to just say you did metal.
Yep.
Is that how you feel about it?
I mean, when it's different because everyone has like
post-hardcore. I saw associated with one of your bands, like, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. I was like, I just.
So it gets weird, man. Like the way the genre is broken up now, and I'm sure it's the same thing with rap. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, post-hardcore and
fucking trap and fucking southern trap and
it's just it gets kind of crazy. And like what I say, like just off the jump metal, like yeah. But then again, people think that Judas Priest and Iron Maiden are like the true metal. So like I wouldn't. It's hard to go to an older person and say we play metal, and they're like, oh, like Judas Priest. It's like.
No,
really.
Like yeah, like that's.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to do that. But now, like when you start breaking it down like too much, it just like gets out of hand. But I would say like post-hardcore is basically like the metal aspects of things, but with a newer poppier sound, I guess you could
So
say.
and melody, more use of melody, because like for you personally, what I take from your style is that you're a lyrical screamo guy.
I wouldn't use the word screamo because you got to think screamo comes from, and this again, fucking the genre breakdowns are just out of control. But like screamo comes from emo, which means like emotional.
Okay,
like,
all right.
sad,
So
like,
then
cry
all right.
baby,
So no, that's not what I meant at all.
I mean?
That's not what I meant at all. So
and it's like, and again, like that's just like, and everyone comes to me like, oh, you're in a screamo band. It's like. Again, same with old people being like Judas Priest, like no, no.
Yeah,
it's like, do I have emotion behind my voice? Absolutely, but am I talking about wanting to kill myself? No. You know
now,
what
do you think that whole genre is in the decline at the moment? Because I'm even seeing the decline in what I would consider to be traditional rap and hip hop music, and
I would say that it's not necessarily one genre declining. I think it's music industry as a whole.
Because I'm even seeing it in country.
It's everywhere. And it has a lot to do with how, and I even talk about this too, like, who was the new rock star, right? Like, back in the day, you had Ozzy Osbourne, you know what I mean? Even, like, up to the point where you had the Foo Fighters, but when the Foo Fighters came out, it was in the 90s.
Oh, no, until, say, 2001, the club of that sort of ilk of person was much smaller and more exclusive.
And, and it was harder to record. It was harder to promote yourself. There's a lot of things that... Back in the day, when you had a band, it was almost easier to blow than it would be now because it's a dime a dozen now. You have to
because it's not just being good. The metric and the prereqs changed. It was no longer if you're talented and you work hard. Those were the two you needed. Yep. Talent and hard work. You do the two of those things and you do it long enough, someone's going to notice you. Something's going to happen for you. Right. But now. There's so many more pieces to that equation. I'm seeing it every day. Insane. You need to have an existing social media fan base. You have to have an existing product. Yep. What I'm seeing in rap now, especially underground, is like those guys, that record, which I think hit 35 on Billboard their opening week, she was done before they ever got signed. They approached the label with a completed project. Labels are not interested in artist development. The internet and YouTube is there for artist development. You have to be developed already before. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or like, just like, brought up by a bigger name. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of the times, it's equal parts luck as it is talent now, realistically. And if you don't have like decent image, like you're trash too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's so weird. Like these guys, like that's an image. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're not seen without those masks at shows and things. They keep the mystique. Right. I think that sort of shit's kind of gone the way of the dodo bird a little bit too.
Yeah, like when you like you think back to like even like in my genre like Slipknot and like Mushroom Head and things like that. Mushroom is still touring, doing their thing. Slipknot's still doing their thing, obviously, but like actually that's not true. There's a band called Kissing Candace that came out recently.
They did a bunch of shit with Twisted too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they toured with them or they toured with somebody. Was it the Clowns maybe? I can't fucking remember, but that's a name I've heard recently.
Yeah, no, Kissing Candace. They were on Stay Sick with us too when they got signed.
Do you okay? So your experience, because I remember when you got signed. Yeah. And conversations I had with Duddy, and in rap at the time, there was a discussion being on about rappers signing to rappers and what would inevitably happen. You would get shelved, or we see it with Eminem all the time. For example, Eminem signed Slaughterhouse. They didn't go anyplace because it was more like M didn't sign a rapper. He signed a pet kind of situation. He signed these Griselda guys. They're doing all right. They're doing better than people thought they were going to do under the new deal. But like they're not doing as good as you think they would do being signed to the biggest fucking rapper that's ever existed. Right. Was the label experience for you a positive one? Was it a business or was it this particular musician's, hey, I like you, you want a deal? And then it collapsed, or I don't know.
So, I mean, in my personal opinion, Stay Sick is one of the best labels, you know what I mean, independent labels that are out right now. And the reason being is the way that they structure things. Like, obviously, Franz has his own thing with Attila. He's doing that kind of stuff. He's got Stay Sick threads. He's got all that kind of stuff. He has a team that does the label stuff. Like I said, like Mike Milford, like, again, shout out to that guy. Very smart businessman. Like he goes off of the heart and he does not fuck around. Like he's like, what I tell you I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you. If it doesn't work out, then we figure it out at that point. You know what I mean? Like if something like they did everything that we asked them to do and then some. They were amazing to us. So I think in certain situations, certain labels are awesome. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they're basically a bank that you have to pay back at some point.
Yeah, that's
I mean?
exactly what I'm seeing is just paperwork that says recoupment, percentages. Were you guys obviously the label owns your masters? Because that's something else that comes up in our end a lot is ownership of masters and for how long.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, right? It's not like they own the music itself. They just own the masters to that recording.
They own the rights to make money off it. That's
right. But if you were to re-record that album and remix it and remaster it, you have a whole new album that you can make money off of.
You know, the road calls you. I'm sure it calls you too, man.
It sucks.
Do you get the urge to go on the road?
All the time. I'm more comfortable on the road than I am like at home working.
For real? I feel that a little bit too. I think it's my Navy days, like living out of a box essentially.
Dude, like we had in a 15-passenger van, you have 1, 2, 3 seats in the back, and then you had the 2 seats, and then we actually built bunks in the back, for that could fit like 2 or 3 people on top, 2 or 3 people on the bottom. And my bunk was always like one of the chairs because I'm a short guy, so I would just sleep in one of the bunks. It was the most comfortable sleep I ever got in my life, dude.
No shit.
All the time. I'd wake up, I'd work out, I'd fucking shower at Planet Fitness. That's what we used to do. We'd sleep in the parking lots of Planet Fitness. And we all had our own like Planet Fitness membership, like $10 a month or whatever. You can go to any Planet Fitness in the country
and use their showers, use their sauna, use their workout equipment.
We'd wake up, we'd fucking flash our badge, go in there.
It's that shit people don't think about because people think, oh, you got signed, you're going on tour.
That doesn't mean shit.
It don't mean dick. It don't mean dicklick because you probably Ubering at places, and people don't understand the concept of bus call. That was something that. My couple shows I did on the road. Oh, well, you should hang out and party. And it's like, no. The bus is leaving in 20 fucking minutes. I got to be standing right here when it leaves.
And, like, luckily, like, we never really had a TM that we had to worry about, like, leaving us. But we were with some friends that would be like, yo, like.
Well, somebody like Tech, there's some infamous stories. Like, they have a 40-page rule book.
Yeah.
For artists, and some of it's for staff, and it's some ridiculous shit like don't sell Tech's personal items because somebody was selling his toothbrushes and shit on eBay. Another rapper was.
That's fucking nuts.
Strange employees cannot bum cigarettes. I'm waiting. I want a copy of this book because I could read the whole thing. But it's like strange employees and artists cannot bum cigarettes from fans because it ruins the illusion. That was part of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But like. If you miss a bus call, it don't matter who you are. MGK missed a bus call his very first tour. They fined him like half the money that they were going to pay him for the entire tour. And they were like, we're going to take half, or you can go home and we'll just take all of it.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like, yeah, so people think it's like parties and fun. And it's like, nah, it's more work than most things, but it's fun work.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, I've never been more stressed in my life than on the road, but I've never been more comfortable in life than on the road. It's like the weirdest situation, and like it's so much fun. But in that point, like I've seen motherfuckers get left at like we actually left our guitars on accident one time at a fucking gas station.
Like by accident?
No, not at a gas station, at like the house we were staying at.
Oh, okay.
So we left not realizing what was going on. We had like an overnight trip that we had to get from like Arizona or somewhere, like LA, or I forgot what it was. And we're driving down the road. And like an hour goes by, and we get a text being like, "Hey, you forgetting something?" And I'm like looking behind us. And I'm like, where's Aunt? And I'm like, oh shit.
Well, that's the problem with not having a TM to worry about. You know what I mean?
Bus call's a little bit different, but we've definitely fucked up quite a bit doing that shit, like showing up late to shows and stuff like that. And that's not a good rapport to have on the road either. You really don't want to be doing that shit. But that's why TMs are good in that aspect. But like with relationships and shit, like you're dating somebody and you're like, they think that you're out partying, having sex with all these people, and you're like, I wouldn't even want to do that with the current condition that I am currently in. It's like, no, I just got off stage. I'm covered in paint because we used to paint ourselves, and I'm like sweaty as shit, disgusting as shit. You think someone wants that? Like, get out of here with that. Like,
and I don't want anybody who wants that.
Yeah.
Either I gotta look at you like if I would have made fun of you as a fan, then I'm gonna make fun of you as an artist for doing that same sort of behavior, and that's kind of the way I feel about it with the groupie situation and things. So you played the Shelter. That's dope. From a rap perspective, that is super fucking dope.
It was just so crazy experience because, like I said, like Whitney's friends, I guess, with Tech.
Oh yeah, they've done a lot of work together. Yeah,
and so it's Supreme. Like it was mind blowing to see, like not understanding. And again, it's just ignorance on my end. Like not understanding how big that side of the music industry is.
Nobody did. Even people within rap, when you mention Tech Nine and they're not familiar with him, and then they see how big of a situation it is, they're like, "How did this slide under my radar?" But part of it's designed that way to some regard. You know what I'm saying? Like he's done some good crossover stuff. He's working with, I heard Elton John.
Shut the fuck up.
Elton John walked into a fucking record store. It was in the news in Seattle.
Yeah.
And asked, "Do you have any Tech Nine records?" And then something happened. I guess they're working on something, but he's working with like
sick.
metal guys. He's trying to. I think he's playing Knotfest in Mexico City again.
Sick.
Like that's how you know Tech knows what the fuck is good. So Tech, like you said, packed house, Detroit, Michigan, at the Shelter, probably 1,000 people. He does over that here, sold out for sure. Most cities he does that. He was the dead first opener for Knotfest in Mexico City.
Crazy.
Now he did it not because he could have egoed up and been like, "I'm not fucking going first.
Right.
I was on the Forbes list. I make more money than you guys do. I make more money than Slipknot does." He didn't do that. He was like, "I get y'all have a fucking existing fan base there. You have love for me, and you gonna fucking stick me in anywhere. I appreciate it." And he went out there and rocked it, and probably made a bunch of new fans. He's going to Europe. And a lot of that's because of the connections he made to the different types of music. That's why it's one big ass circle.
Yeah.
Everything's a little strange.
Like I said, like walking into those experiences, like it's just so funny. Like just being like, "Yo, I have no idea who Tech Nine is," but as soon as we got out of that show, we said goodbye. I fucking got into the car, and the first person I put on was Tech Nine, just to like get my like chops up. I'm like, "This is some crazy shit." Like fucking.
He's particularly he exists in that space that not many do, where it's like super hard. It's super hard, and it can fit with metal themes and just the way his delivery is real unique.
He's so fast. What's that West Coast chopper?
Yeah, the choppers thing, the worldwide choppers.
Worldwide choppers. I was like, it's so sick. I'm right here.
Do that chopper rap, because then you get too many trying to do it, and then there's like 3 guys who can, and the rest is just like.
Yeah. And then this little Uzi Vert shit. Is that
See, I can't even. That kid is so detached. He's like a fucking alien to me. So who's in your genre that is doing big things right now? Because like I said, I don't even. Popular music has been dominated by just. There's nothing hard on the radio. There's nothing.
Like it's kind of hard to pinpoint specifics. You know what I mean? Like Attila's doing really good for what they're doing. You know, like you have to think it's like the high end of the underground. I guess they would consider it. Like metal had its time in the early 2000s where it was on the radio. We had Korn, we had Slipknot, we had Mudvayne, like all those bands that were, you know, like new metal, Static X, that were coming out on the radio, that were huge on MTV, that, you know what I mean? Awesome time for at least like that genre. And then we kind of got pushed back under for like the new age of pop, which, don't get me wrong, I love pop too. I love everything. I love hip hop. I love pop. Like, if you don't have that wide range of things, like it's hard to be special in your own genre. Like if you listen to pop and you're writing pop choruses to a metal song, that's fucking mind-blowing shit.
And it keeps it relevant. You can be relevant without taking direct shit from, you know what I mean, without changing your overall sound, at least keeping it relevant.
Yeah. And at least like for the high end of the underground in terms of like our genres, like there's bands like Ice Nine Kills that again.
All right, I've heard of them too because I'm pretty sure they did something with Twisted too.
Dude, they were on Warped.
Okay, yeah.
And dude, that band is just like, Spencer is just a smart motherfucker. Like that dude, he's been doing it for years and years and years. Like another thing is too is like just outlasting your competitors, really. Like just sticking it out and just being the last man standing.
I believe that because I believe that's part of what occurred to me was I just refused to go away. I tell people all the time, perseverance is something people forget.
100%, and like it goes for a lot of bands. But yeah, these guys, the high end of the underground, like I'm saying, he made this full album, and he's been doing it like the first album prior to this, but he does concept albums. So he'll literally write like this last one he did, it's called The Silver Scream, and every song is based off of a horror movie.
Okay, all right.
And like he made a movie about the album, and every music video is, you know what I mean, part of this movie. It's just it's mind fucking blowing.
So it's a whole audio visual experience.
It's insane. And
is that where you see everything going?
I think that you have a better chance of being more successful when people are able to grasp onto something that you do. Like, and that goes back to image. Like, if you don't have an image, you don't have something that sticks in someone's brain, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, on their phones all the fucking time, it's all visual to them. If they can see your face and then hear a good chorus, they're like, oh, this fucking band is so crazy. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's like they're mind blowing. A band that's kind of stuck it out through the years is this band called In This Moment.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
They're not. I mean, they're metal for sure, but like they're more on like the mainstream metal aspect of things. And then like it's just a lot of hard rock now. You know what I mean? Like Hailstorm's still doing really good. But in terms of like the metal, like you consider it, like you see, like I would say Ice Nine Kills is one of the top ones for me, at least. Being a fan of that kind of music, it's super impressive. Like if you check it out sometime, you'll be pretty mind blown. They have
I think I'm pretty familiar with them, to be honest. See, I couldn't tell you. I went to two Warped Tour dates this past time. Especially because it was the last one, and then especially because Twisted was on it.
That was super cool.
It was a coup.
Yeah.
It was a fucking coup, because they played one Warped Tour show in the early 2000s here in Mansfield.
Okay.
And they got booed the fuck off stage.
Really?
And shit was thrown at them, and like a riot almost broke out.
Damn.
And there were fights, and they had to like run away. So they always said no. So 2 summers ago, this guy Gmo Ski played a spot date. Now he's from the Bay Area, so you'd think they would have him play that one. No, they had him play here in Mansfield. Everything went all right. His subject matter is a lot of F word. I don't mean fuck. It's a lot of homo. You know what I mean? And that's not playing.
No,
like
no.
Especially in that Warped went from what it at one point was, which was like a hardcore festival in the early days,
like
to now
rock.
it's almost like acceptance camp.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's just the way everything went. Some bands have gotten in trouble,
dude,
while it fucking progressed, and I think we're past that. I don't think there was one fucking. That was the one thing this year, where they were like, "Look, zero fucking tolerance. It's not even like if we even think it, you're fucking gone. Like we're not dealing with it." So I know a lot of bands did get in trouble though during the thing, but I think that's one of the reasons it went away.
Yeah, like I'm telling you right now, Kevin Lyman, right, the guy who runs Warped Tour. He's a punk kid at heart. Like he created that tour. It was like the Casualties and like all these old school punk bands that were doing this. Less Than Jake doing the ska. Like it was a very one genre, one idea, one like, you know what I mean. And like over time, he let people in, and he built a lot of careers.
When he went out of genre in those early years, it was for things like Cypress, which had cross-genre appeal.
Eminem.
That's what I mean. Early days of Eminem.
He built No Doubt. He built Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Like, all those people were on the Warped Tour.
Yeah, but he's a genius.
They cut their fucking teeth.
They described the whole process as like pro musician summer camp.
They call it punk rock boot camp.
Okay, punk rock boot camp.
Yeah.
There was a reality show about some of the roadies, and then they made a television show where there were MGK was playing one of the roadies. Like I always enjoyed the reality version more than the dramatized version. But so that is where you basically cut your teeth, right? Through like touring and those types of shows.
And those tours are no fucking joke. Like Warped Tour, like my girlfriend's in another band called the Nearly Deads, and they did like a longer run. They did like a 10-day run on that tour. My friends in Makeout, they did the full run. And dude, it's like it's nonstop. You wake up in the morning, you get your shit off the trailer. You know what I mean? You play your fucking set. You go sell your merch. You promote. You pack up. You get to the fucking next day.
You are in the sun all day, and there's nobody holding your fucking hand.
Nope.
Because if you don't show up for that first call in the morning with 2 personnel to help unpack fucking stage shit, you are fucked. That's why Twisted ended up hopping in an SUV and driving to 6 shows during that run, because they were like, look, we can't not. It's going to look so bad. And I'm glad they hit every date. Every day went well. As a performer, even in that situation, it's a nightmare because they're not even pulling slot times until 9 a.m.
Yeah, they
So you better be awake.
Yeah. Like, there's no chance. And if you don't have a driver, dude, you basically are like a zombie for the 2 months that you're on the tour, because like you got to bring yourself. And like I said, they don't the routing that they do sometimes don't even make sense. So like they'll like, you know how a normal booking agent will make a routing that kind of makes sense for the artist. This doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
If they get wherever dates they can get. Sometimes it'll
And
be
then
like
connect the dots, and you're gonna pass one to come back a week later. Yeah, I know how it goes. Yeah.
And so like then that's what makes it even worse, because sometimes you'll have like a 21-hour drive after the date. You know what I mean? And it's
some
like
of the most brutal heat.
It's insane. And if you don't, it's gonna be sad that it's gone. But in the same breath, it's like,
well, he's gonna do. He says he's doing 3 dates.
Yeah.
And he announced the cities, I guess. I guess it's Chicago, L.A., and then someplace out here. I don't think he's announced yet. Mm-hmm. I think that'll make it more exclusive. I think it'll make it a bigger deal, and I think he has a better chance of, say, getting the big rumors of the final run were who's going to come out of the woodwork to fucking play this tour. And, I mean, they went as far as suggesting Eminem may do it.
Yeah.
With it being a 3-show festival run, that's far more akin to, say, a Coachella.
Right.
Far easier to get that Eminem,
Yeah.
or get that Cypress even, or get Rage, or, you know, Prophets of Rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get those type of bands to really set it off. Because I don't know I don't even know who the big ones were this year. I don't even know who the big bands were this year. I had fucking credentials, so I walked from like the back far wall in the amphitheater just to see if I could do it, and bypass the line, pit line, down through into, and I was in the alleyway in front of main stage. I had no idea who was on stage, but people were bugging the fuck out. Yeah, and I was like, well, damn, okay. Like,
and that's what I miss about that tour, because like that tour too, it can do one of two things. Like, one, it can really build a band. You know what I mean? Like, Warped Tour really does, like, in a lot of cases, like, look at No Doubt, look at Katy Perry. It can excel a career, like, by leaps and bounds. But also, too, what it can do is take a band that's decent and just give them the biggest fucking ego of all time. Because you have those thousands of kids every single day, and their heads are going, yo, this is fucking lit. And they're like, we are amazing. We are like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to name names right now, but I've seen these bands do this. And then now that their cash cow's gone, you know what I mean? I've seen them do runs outside of Warped Tour, 200 kids, 300 kids a night. Yeah. It's like, not used to those thousands. You know what I mean?
When you get shit, I can imagine they're doing numbers in excess of 5,000 to 6,000 in places like Hartford, where I went. Mm-hmm. And you only get those crowds because those crowds are there for the total experience.
Exactly.
My only issue with it is I don't think that crowds like that nowadays are looking to discover new music. At least not in that way. Right.
Some of the younger kids are like, I personally, as an older person, will go because I want to see very specific bands. You know what I mean? And I'll go to. And if I end up running into another band, you know what I mean? Like, well, I might be touring with this band in like 2 months, so I'm gonna go check them out and see what's going on with them. Like, for the most part, at least in like our standing, that's how we do Warped Tour. But like the younger kids go out and they're like, oh my god, like you're in a band, and like I guess like the facade is like they think that you're way bigger than you are because you're on this tour, you're doing all these things, you know what I mean? And that's another big thing that's hard to keep, is that like that veil in front of, like, we're all jaded now because we're part of the industry, so we know like this is fucking bullshit. But it's like these kids really see these things and they're like, this is like larger than life. You see bands, you know, with fire and all this crazy shit going on stage, and like they're like almost like superheroes in a sense. You know,
and if you strip some of that down, it's like
we know it's a CO2 cannon.
Well, I think nowadays too. I mean, I remember when like metal was the fringe, even more so than rap to some degree. Like that was the fringe, that was the tattoos, that was the piercings. All that shit shifted, and then hip hop started tattooing their face, which is something metal didn't even do.
Yeah, we're like, nah, sorry,
like
man.
Metal wouldn't even tattoo their face. So I think that everything shifted. I think the attitude stays the same depending on genre, and that's what's popular, is that attitude. Yeah. And it's the quote unquote what I like to call the Superman. Mm-hmm. So it's like you see somebody like shit. Even on the low, I say on the low end, he's a nice guy. I was a stand-in for him a couple of months ago, but Post Malone.
Yeah.
When I met him, he's a fucking 24-year-old kid. You forget that.
Yeah.
and this is all new to him too. And
Oh yeah. Oh,
he
yeah.
just happened to luck out.
He's
Like really luck out. Like hard work and stuff aside, he kind of he understands he lucked out, but he's got that don't give a fuck attitude or whatever, and that's why people, you know, and it's shown through the face tats and shit like that.
You know, it's a funny story about Post Malone. You know his connection to the metal scene.
No.
So he before he was ever doing what he was doing, he was trying out for metal bands. Like he's a huge metal fan. He's
like an overall musician. I've come to find out.
Yeah. And he's like his genre, the things that he likes is like metal, hardcore, and like obviously he loves hip hop and stuff like that too. But he used to try out, like there's this band called Crown the Empire before they blew up. They were one of the bigger bands in the genre. He tried out for Crown the Empire. Like he's tried out for a lot of bigger metal bands before he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do hip hop.
Well, I think that was a marketing decision because he had tried some bluegrass at one point.
Yeah.
like I said, I think he was a musician who people knew had overall talent, but you see it all the times in the industry when you get signed to certain management. They'll tell you, like, look, we know you're talented, we know you can do all this, but we got to find that one thing and try to sell that one thing, and you can't sell it all. So they did the same thing to, like, Pink. Pink has some notorious stories of, you know, we want you to be hip-hop. So cut your fucking hair, dye it, we're going to put you in a video with a bunch of black guys. But that's never who she was.
Right.
You know what I mean? She later on was able... She
pulled herself out of it.
Yeah, she was able to do that shit. But yeah, I just think the attitudes... Because like I said, even country to some regard is dying off. Not dying off, but in a downswing. But then you see somebody like... what the fuck's his name? He's not even a legitimate country musician.
The guy, what's the song that he sings? I think I know what you're talking about, though.
Sucking Dick and Kicking Ass is one of them.
What?
He's got a video for a song, and he's like on stage with another guy, and they're playing in Nashville.
Okay.
In like a club full of actual country fans that don't know who they're about to see.
All right.
And it's like just him and his boy with guitars, acoustics, and he's like eating pussy and kicking ass. Eating pussy and kicking ass, and then at one point he stomps his foot and goes, "Which one of you faggots is gonna suck my dick?" And then sucking dick and kicking ass. But that's what the record is. And then there's a song called "I Hate You, Bitch." I hate you, bitch. But what it is he's a comedian. He's a Jewish comedian from New York who grew a beard, put on a cowboy hat.
That's fucking
and
hilarious.
Is now pretending to be a country musician. And that's outselling all the legitimate country. Like somebody like Trippie Redd, who's a fucking joke, or this Bex individual, these fucking alien-looking, so many face tats, it's confusing. Like, so many tats on the face that I wouldn't even get that many tats on one part of my body because I'd feel like it would be too confusing and distracting to the eye. One of the best touring acts right now in standard hip-hop music is fucking Bad Baby, the Catch Me Outside girl. Now, she's an industry plant too.
Yeah.
But at least she's all right. She's not bad, to be completely honest with you. Even I can get behind that.
I listened to some of her shit. I'm like, yo, this isn't even that. This isn't even trash.
Not. I know she's not writing it. It's clear.
Yeah, but, But you know what I mean? Like, what's that song? Bye Bitch, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Bye Bitch. Like that shit. Like, and whoever's writing it is writing it from her perspective. It's not like she's just grabbing I got guns. No, she's not stepping outside of her wheelhouse at all.
Yep.
And then she just drops some new joint with Tory Lanez. So it's not even like she's a niche fucking like sideshow act. Yep. She's not Afro Man.
She's being legitimate.
Yeah, she's getting legitimized. She's signed by Atlantic. Some makeup brand just gave her a $900,000 fucking endorsement deal. That's the other thing. Like, I'm getting into that sort of shit now, sponsorships and endorsements and everything else. I feel like those opportunities for bands are harder because you get more people that have to agree on something. You might have a conspiracy brother in your band who's like, I'm not selling out corporate for shit.
That's another thing too. Like when it comes to like, there's a fine line you got to ride between being an artist and being, like a sellout, because like you can't legitimately be successful without pulling some of those strings. Like like I myself, I consider myself a legitimate artist because I write specific things and I write about specific things, and I take a lot of time and I focus on what I'm saying, and I make sure what I'm saying is relevant, in making sure what I'm saying is like really something that I care about or something that I truly believe in. Like some of our new songs that got trashed. Like I had a situation where we had an associate that I work with murder somebody over his girlfriend. He found his girlfriend cheating and walked into the house and straight up murdered the dude. And
we know a couple of people that have murdered people. Considering where we're from,
yeah.
Like we do know a couple of folk that have murdered some people.
Yeah, and so like I saw that and I was like, imagine being so heated in the moment, right? Like where you walk into your house and you see this happening, and that you murder this dude, and then afterwards you try to like say, well, this is because I loved you so much, this is why I did this, and like to that you didn't do anything wrong, like that what you just did, you just murdered a man, you don't see anything wrong with that because of how you felt and how that person made you feel. Like I was like, I need to write a song about this is fucking crazy, and then like I wrote a whole song about it. But like you have people who are writing songs like baby you know, just stupid, like just topical
like
shit.
You wrote that. Sometimes I'll listen to some shit and I'll be like, somewhere there's a fucking piece of paper. And you wrote that.
Yep.
Like, you really fucking wrote that. And not only did you write it, you wrote it, you read that shit back, and you went, that's hot. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. Because I mean, my story with rap was one of, like, it was later in life, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I was much older than Duddy when we rapped together, and your brother. And once I got involved in a bigger administrative level with Grime Mode.
Right.
And I got put next to MCs like Token and like Lingo and like Passion MC. I knew I could never be that. But I could be this.
Right.
And that's kind of what elevated me to the level I was able to get, was that realization.
Yeah. It's funny.
So, yeah, I'm out. I cannot sit down. Sometimes I'll get a couple of bars off something.
Yeah.
But it's way easier for me to get a joke now.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just do that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel you.
Like, I can't chase. Because I know also that I could have a million. I could be the best there ever was, have the best fucking social media game, all that shit. And because I fucking crossed Joyner, that could get in my way.
Right.
Given his closeness to M.
Yep.
Because we've seen what M was able to do to MGK to some regard. Like, you know what I mean? I know how this game is played. And I know I'm not the pettiest motherfucker out there. I'm clearly not. I mean, I'm petty.
Yeah.
But I'm clearly not the pettiest dude in the fucking music industry.
Right. It's that whole situation, too. Like, you gotta understand, like, I love Eminem. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, like, one of, like, coming up from a musical, like as a child, listening to all kinds of music, listening to Eminem, listening to ICP, listening to like metal, Slipknot, Mudvayne, all that kind of shit. You listen to Eminem, like you see this guy as a legend, and I'm sure that's kind of what he is. He's a legend in the rap game, you know what I mean? But to see him like in a weird way attack a rapper who doesn't really have any reason to be attacked, like he said some stupid shit about your daughter, yeah, I get it. But like to like basically legitimize this guy is what he did. I mean, as soon as you put someone's name in a song and like burn them like that, like there's some ulterior motives in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's no way that you just thought like, oh, I'm just gonna burn this guy down in a rap and just expect nothing's gonna happen. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, he wanted to do like,
oh no, okay, so that it's funny you say that, because that was always one of the rumors that was floating, because
they signed to the same label
and they had the same management.
Yeah.
Paul, like when MGK said Paul called me, somebody else's manager doesn't call you. Somebody else's manager calls your manager.
Right.
So Paul and Diddy calling him was his manager and his label head calling him. That may have been a setup because they knew he had the record drop, and then Bird Box, which turned into a fucking huge deal.
That was kind of cool though.
He's got another movie where he's playing Slash.
Slash, what do you mean?
They're doing the GNR biopic.
Whoa.
And no, he's not playing Slash. He's playing Tommy.
Okay.
They're doing the Motley Crue biopic.
That's wild.
And he's playing Tommy Lee.
That's wild.
That's fucking crazy. So he doesn't even have to put out a record.
No.
You know what I mean? I feel like he kind of rushed it, but it was like, all right, you ride that wave. Now, whether they all knew it in advance, who knows? But
yeah.
fucking,
It just
they
seems
knew how to ride it. Of course you ride it.
Dude.
Joe Budden just called out this MC Sci-Hi the Prince out of no place like yesterday, and it's like, well, no, Sci-Hi's dropping a record in a couple of weeks. That's why he's doing it. That's their friends. Yeah, they know each other. Like that's not.
Dude, Joe Budden makes me laugh my ass off too. That guy is out of control. Out of control. Like, and it's funny too because I have like a friend that I work with who's like super into like the in-depth hip hop. You know what I mean? Like the Joe Buddens and like all that kind of stuff. And like it's funny to see, like I'm from an outsider point of view. Like I'm not super like deep into like the hip hop game, but like I love seeing like the shit that they toy around with. It's like, yeah, like this is definitely a setup here. Like and metal does it too. Like we had a band that was like shit talking each other on Twitter like hardcore, and they went on tour afterwards. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Yeah.
See, the thing with the Twisted ICP beef thing that's going on, that's what everybody thought it was work. Everybody was, well, they have wrestling backgrounds and it's a wrestling storyline. True.
Yeah. And
when we started getting into so-and-so knocked up so-and-so's niece, and like I was like, there were even some points where I was like, am I sure this is not just bullshit?
Like it seems, it's like it's almost so outlandish.
The truth is so much stranger than fiction. The simulation is glitching so bad right now. Like there's so much weird. This McDonald's thing from Trump the other night,
bro.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I did tell him I'm drinking a lot. I got to use the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
but I want to dive into this because this is some crazy shit.
I talked about it on my show last night. Yeah, come back. We'll do this. Go for yours.
We gotta dive into this because this is fucking out of control.
Yeah, it's out of control because it was completely a fucking PR play. It was completely transparent. At least to me, it was. So I did this because the staff is not here because the government's shut down.
See, no. So this is. And as an adult now, right? Like back in the day, I didn't give a fuck about politics. You know what I mean? And I didn't really pay attention to a lot. But now, like as you're getting older, you're realizing like these people are deciding what's going to happen to our future, and like to your kids, and like it's fucking terrifying to think that like there's and this is I'm not left or right. I'm kind of in the middle. Like if the person makes the right points, then I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like Charlie Baker in Massachusetts, like he's a Republican. But he kind of rides that line where you can get behind him even as like a liberal. You know what I mean? So I think that's where we really need to see like Washington and shit. But this fucking is just fucking bananas. Like
it's crazy.
Like it's like the fucking movie Idiocracy. You ever seen that movie? Where like fucking like the president's name is Mountain Dew.
That shit became a documentary way quicker than Mike Judge intended. He's given a couple of interviews and he goes, I can't believe it came. True.
It's really scary because, like I said, like as I guess I wouldn't say a younger, but a young-ish, member of society in the U.S. It's like the 2016 election and like how everything played out with that, in the way that like the new like internet is just fucking destroying. It's so
destroying
scary.
Independent thought.
Yeah.
Because and at this point. You can't tell what's real.
And it's getting to the point, too, where they have like this new Photoshop thing, right? Where you can edit audio.
Oh, yeah.
And you can like have people say shit they never said.
Well, that's the thing. Like, anybody who's got an overabundance, and it sucks for podcasters especially, an overabundance of their speech on the internet. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's got an overabundance of that, all they need is 7 hours. Yeah. And if they have 7 hours of you talking, they can craft pretty much anything. It's still rough. But I'm pretty sure they're probably more ahead of it than they're letting on.
And even like CGI and shit, like the way that they're making that kind of stuff go down, like I was just listening to a documentary on it.
Well, just the algorithms and shit. I mean, I talk about this sometimes. So, France. Mm-hmm. Remember that French thing?
Which one? The yellow?
Yeah, vest? That shit's like entering its 16th week of like active hostilities. Like that's the French Revolution going on right now. Yeah. And the president gave out Big Macs, which makes me think like what's real and what's not. Was that a lot of? And I think the wall's a red herring. With the way he's talking, I think this has to do more with he wanted to push it to this point where he can go ahead and invoke emergency powers. Because if he invokes emergency powers, that's a whole bag of worms that's not going to end good.
Dude, it's the same thing with like the Senate doing the nuclear option where they only needed 50 votes now to get anything passed through the Senate. And it's like they did that in order to get their agenda passed through, but now they're going to fuck it up for the rest of the future because now if, like, say, you know, the Democrats get into place, there's no place for bipartisanship anymore. It's like you're either left or you're right. If you're right, you better not talk to the left, and if you're left, you should not talk to the right.
Yeah, but that's bullshit because I hate that fucking mindset because it's like, all right, am I a liberal? Yeah. Am I a conservative? Yeah, but it depends on what we're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Like, I'm mad conservative when it comes to gun control, and what I mean by that is I want a gun. I don't want nobody to be able to know what gun I got.
Right.
You know, that's me, and that's a conservative viewpoint.
Yeah.
But to me, that's not a conservative viewpoint. That's a liberal viewpoint because when it comes to things like abortion rights, I'm like, I think women should have rights over their own bodies.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, what club am I in? Like, I go to the NRA meeting because I like guns, but I really can't talk to any of those people because we got nothing else in common most of the time because, you know.
And I think that, like, for the most part, at least our generation and the generations below us are kind of on that same level where we kind of have two ideas that truthfully, like, just bipartisan. And, like, we kind of take a little bit from the right and a little bit from the left. And some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, but we match it together.
But there's far more people that are just washed in one column.
Yeah.
It's like not, you know, it used to be like a Chinese food menu. You can take one from column A, one from column B, and now it's like, no, you got to take a whole column, no substitution.
Yeah.
So, and if you substitute, then your opinions on anything else don't matter.
Yeah.
Or if you violate the rules. Especially right now with the way everything's swung with this Me Too thing. I think there's going to be a self-correction. This happens in cultures and it happens in societies where you get a self-correction.
Yeah.
Slavery had a self-correction to some regard. Even the plague was self-correction.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gone so far. I mean, literally, I watched Kevin Hart the other day on The Breakfast Club, and he apologized no fewer than 13 times for different things.
Right.
7-year-old tweets. And who hasn't said or done something that if was like that right now under the current rules could get them fucking flame sprayed? Probably nobody. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's going to bounce back and get back to some normalcy.
One can only hope.
But right now, shit is bad.
It's scary, man. And
like I said, the internet's ruining lives very quickly.
Yeah,
but we can't cancel R. Kelly.
Yeah,
but that shows you he's from the world before all this. Because I like to think of it in terms of, I'm supportive of certain aspects of the Me Too movement, and of course I'm supportive of women. I do not want anybody to think I am not. But by today's rules, we wouldn't have anything, because Einstein is known and routinely would invite other, professorship partners and female members of his lab to his place and walk down the stairs with an open robe with his dick hanging out. And he would judge the response, and if he didn't feel like it was cool to proceed, he'd put his dick away and get to work. So, like, in today, that's what Louis C.K. was doing, essentially. And they canceled Louis C.K. They canceled Neil deGrasse Tyson about some shit that supposedly happened in college.
Right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's one of the biggest fucking intellectual brains of this generation. And they canceled him. Stephen Hawking, the only reason Stephen Hawking didn't get canceled before he died was because he was in a fucking wheelchair. But that dude was a notorious piece of shit who literally, while he was in the wheelchair, left his wife for one of his nurses. How do you do that and you're a quadriplegic? Like, we wouldn't have a lot of what we have now because we would have canceled these people based on one societal flaw.
Yeah, and I think the line, like, for me personally, like, there's some things that, like, I'm like, that's kind of inexcusable. You know what I mean? Like, throwing your dick out at somebody, that's inexcusable. Yeah, why? Like, but, like, in the same breath, it's like, I think that there's definitely some kind of, like, over PGing everything. Like, everything needs to be, like, PC. Like, you need to be like, this is how we're doing it. And if you, even, like, very slightly, if you think that this is not the way that it should go, then you're a fucking loser and you're a piece of shit, and I hope you burn in hell. It's like, simmer down, guys. Like, some people just don't have the same, like, thought process as you do, and that's okay. That's what a democracy is. Some people think certain ways, some people don't. You know what I mean? That's freedom of speech. That's what we run off of. You shouldn't chastise somebody for feeling that way. Now, if someone's throwing their dick out and shaking it, being like, "Look at my dick," that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, that motherfucker should get canceled. That's a little fucking weird. You know what I mean? Do I think Louis C.K. will probably bounce back?
Oh, no,
Absolutely.
yeah, and, like, people who really look into that, like, none of those girls complained. This was literally, like, a story female comedians would laugh about amongst each other because it had happened to all of them.
Right.
And some said no, and some said yes,
Yeah.
and some went as far as blowing him, like, by their own admission. Sarah Silverman was like, yeah, I used to blow him occasionally. Like, that was, like, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that. So I just think that, like I said, I think there's going to be a self-correction coming. And I think the internet's at fault. Because prior to, say, 97, 98, 99, say 2000, right? There wasn't really an internet the way the way there was now, or at all. Once it came, like I said, it was a bastion of sin.
Yeah.
Like, what was the internet for? The internet was for SublimeDirectory.com, which was porn. Fubar.com.
What was that one, that Rotten?
Like, snuff videos. Most people had never seen somebody die prior to 99. Your average person had not seen someone die.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And then all of a sudden,
Internet
you could
comes
see
up.
all sorts of crazy shit. I remember those first few weeks where I really had internet. And just, like, being, like, in it. Like, being like, this is amazing. And I think because it went so far, I mean, 2 Girls, 1 Cup, the Mr. Hands video of the dude getting fucked by the horse to death, just everything else. I think that this is the self-correction from that, and I think you know it's fucking
It's the
inertial.
ebb and flow.
It's equal and opposite reaction, and I think we're in this period where it's gonna go boom, 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 and we're slowly gonna get to the fucking middle. Hopefully,
yeah,
we're slowly gonna get to the middle, or the rubber band's gonna break. And if the fucking rubber band breaks, then that's a whole other thing.
it's just it's a scary concept
Because what we're trying to do in this country right now is to hold a group of people that clearly have a bunch of different ideas about shit together as one group. And maybe, I mean, the United States is still a young country. Maybe, and I'm not advocating for the overthrow of the U.S. government Secret Service. Maybe it's time to look at the 250th anniversary of the Constitution of the United States of America is coming up in a couple of years.
Damn.
They're looking at rewriting portions and submitting the rewrites to Congress for approval to update the document. Because if there's a fucking document, a dusty old fucking piece of paper that needs to be updated, it's the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah.
I think it's time to break it up a little bit and say, look, you know, we get that a large enough percentage of y'all want shit this way. So we got to have a part for that. If you want shit to be that way, you go to that part.
Yeah.
And we're going to have another part and things are going to be different because there's enough of y'all that want it that way too.
Right.
So what the fuck are we going to do? Because y'all are going to fight if we don't do it one of the 2 ways, so we have to do them both ways.
Right.
But don't go to the other side and do shit the way you do it over here, or they're gonna fuck you up. Like, maybe that's, I think putting one dude in charge of this many fucking people is dumb. And I know with we have a system. No, not really. Obviously we don't. If one fucking dickhead over a wall
Can shut everything down.
We're getting to critical mass, I think. Because they shut down Section 8 and EBT as of February 1st. People are getting their shit early. I'm thinking Joe American has about 3 weeks in him.
To chill before shit hits the fan.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 weeks. We'll see. I heard the Coast Guard paychecks for the 15th didn't clear.
Yikes.
And you're talking, okay, we had government shutdowns before.
Yep.
But this past weekend, we blew past the longest we'd ever had one. So that's why this other shit's happening. We used to talk about it when I was active duty. The minute my check don't come, I'm done. You violated my enlistment contract by not paying me this week, so I'm leaving. Kanye West, everybody burned him when he said slavery was a choice 5-6 weeks ago.
Wait, who said this?
Kanye West on TMZ or something said,
Jesus Christ.
the slavery mindset is a choice.
we're witnessing that choice right now because there are dudes not receiving paychecks that are supposed to be in furlough. TSA is at a all-time high of people calling out. There's over excessive wait times. The food supply, the FDA is closed. So if you're buying food right now, the shit is not being inspected.
Yep.
I'm waiting because there's a list of things I have in my brain that it's like, yo, if any one of these top 10 things happen, no questions. We get in the car and we head for the fucking. We grab weapons. We head for the hills. It's the timer has started. So like a nuclear weapon goes off anywhere on this earth.
Yeah,
I'm gone. Because if one goes off, that's not the end of it.
Nope.
Any country refuses to accept the American dollar as petrol currency, I'm gone. I have a box full of Iraqi money with Saddam Hussein's face on it that one day was worth thousands of dollars, and the next day I wouldn't have wiped my ass with it because it wasn't worth shit. I've seen with my own eyes a kingdom crumble.
Yeah. And
the minute our dollar folds or, our currency fucking collapses, I think we have about 12 hours, if that, before it's fucking Lord of the Flies in this motherfucker. I told her, I was like, I know places to go to get guns.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say walk into a fucking gun store and try to rob them, but I have friends who have excess firearms who I'd be like, look, I'm here, just give me something.
Yeah.
So I can at least fucking go out and get some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a list of things like that where it's like, oh, that happens, I'm gone. I think this particular situation, with the way shit's washing out, he has the worst vice president that you could fucking imagine. And nobody wants him either. So there's not really too many ways around this.
No.
Usually in situations like this, they've been able to put a vice president in play who people could at least stand.
Right.
Nixon resigned. Right? After Watergate?
Yep.
Well, not according to some people. Some people, me included, believe that a military coup happened in this country. Because messages went out from the Joint Chiefs of Staff prior to Nixon's resignation that said, you are no longer to follow orders directly from Crystal Palace. All orders must come through Joint Chief Command. The Joint Chiefs took command. They took over the armed forces. White House was sending out orders. They weren't being followed.
No.
They said, you got 12 fucking hours to resign or we're going to roll tanks up on you and take you and put you in jail. I think we're going to end up seeing them do that to somebody for once. They're not going to be able to make a backroom deal with Donnie. He's fucking, he's unstable as fuck.
It's just crazy, man. Because, like, the whole situation, like, the first real election that I voted in was this election, actually. The 2016 election. And by no means did I think Hillary Clinton was, like, the greatest candidate of all time. You know what I mean? There was a lot of flaws. I mean, clearly there's a lot of flaws in Don, and there's a lot of flaws in Hillary. But in the same breath, it's like, which one's more stable? And, like, this is, like, scary as shit.
See, my whole thing with Hillary was I wasn't going to vote for her because of Bernie. And I was like, Bernie should be the one on the ballot.
Yeah,
and then to find out for sure
that
they
fucked
him.
And
there's no one in jail and Bernie's still sitting around playing the system. No, if I'm Bernie Sanders, I'm in front of Hillary Clinton's house with a fucking torch, like yelling at that Frankenstein ass bitch. I have no information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, or will I ever kill myself. Just for the record, before we dive into this. Okay, the Clintons, this country's run by families, for sure, just like every other country. And for a while it was the Kennedys, and then it became the Bushes, and then it became the Clintons. And, they got some bodies on them, boy. They got some bodies. Like, if you really get into it, and I'm not saying Hillary Clinton's got a fucking 9mm with a silencer dressed like the Equalizer, fucking snuffing dudes like Agent 49. I'm not saying that. But they got some bodies. They've got some... Oh, he suicided himself. He shot himself twice in the head. What? Like, I'm impressed that you got that second shot off. I'm really impressed that, it didn't work. And you had enough wherewithal to do it again. Like, I don't buy that shit.
Yeah.
I'm maybe not going to jump off the bridge as far as some people do, where some people are tying, like, the Clintons to Anthony Bourdain.
That's,
But that's like that's a tangled web. And, like, but I do know There are companies in this country. There's a company called Black Cube out of New York. Okay, they're a private security firm. Their entire board of directors are previous heads of the Israeli Mossad.
Kind of weird.
Okay. Fucking Harvey Weinstein hired them to like help him shake down the women that were fucking accusing him. They helped Hillary get elected. They were one of her contractors during her election to do election shit. And these people are like, they influence elections.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're playing all these weird backroom games. I just think that the system, they put somebody at top who's literally shining a light on. Don't you see how stupid this all is? Like, don't you see how dumb it is that we got one dude in charge? Like, this is really not working out.
Well, it's like, it just somehow, some way the fluke happened and he got it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, everyone's just like, yo, this is what he can do? Like, it's just...
No, but people are, he's just going to invoke power, build the wall. No, that's not what that means. Like, when you invoke the power, that presidential power shit, that's a lot more than just, I get to go over here and build this fence now.
Dude.
He can return all military forces to the United States and then enact them as police on a federal level, which is something that the Armed Forces Charter does not allow for. But if he suspends habeas corpus, the Constitution gets, hey, never mind, we're not going to use that this week. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, I forgot who it was. Have you seen, I know we're sounding like Alex Jones at this point.
No, you know what, though? With everything going on, I've been wanting somebody to talk to about this shit. So.
But, there was if you see the new movie, it's called Vice. It's about Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney cannot leave the United States. Dick Cheney and George Bush cannot leave the United States because if they do, they will be arrested for war crimes. Did you know that?
I did not.
George Bush has never left the United States since he's been president. Obama's going all over the damn place, having vacations. George Bush hasn't left fucking ranch because if him or Cheney leave this country, they will be tried for war crimes.
Dude, it's so crazy. So that movie basically walks you through, like, Dick Cheney as a young guy getting into politics, how he got into politics. Like, and again, like, they say pretty much, like, you can't, like verbatim say this is exactly how it happened, but they did their fucking research.
Yeah, you can get pretty close. He tied himself to a guy who at an early age was a CIA intern, was in Dallas on the day Kennedy was fucking shot, who potentially married Aleister Crowley's daughter. Do you know about that? No. Barbara Bush. Barbara Bush is potentially Aleister Crowley's daughter.
That's fucking crazy.
Okay? There's some shit going on right now in Europe. The UK is about to leave the EU.
Yep.
Okay? France, that's what this whole thing's about. They want to leave the EU. Who's the head of the EU? The whole France thing. The yellow shirt thing is about them wanting to leave the EU because they feel like the European Union has killed their economy.
See, I thought it was about the president, Emmanuel Macron.
Well, yeah, because he won't pull. Yeah, because they have to in keep with European Union carbon offset bullshit, like the Geneva, whatever the fuck, climate accords.
Yeah.
The head, this is fucked up. The chancellor of Germany, which
Angela Merkel.
There has not been a chancellor in Germany since Hitler. First thing. It was a position that no longer existed after Hitler because the EU said it couldn't. When she became head of the European Union, she declared herself chancellor. Okay? There's a possibility. She grew up with the prime minister of the UK right now. Like, as babies. They were in some sort of camp together.
This is getting real deep real quick.
People say that Merkel may be Hitler's daughter. That part of what happened at the end of World War II, because we all know Hitler didn't die. At this point, I'm on some white belt shit with you right now. Like, you gotta, I'm gonna send you to some stuff. Like, before you leave, I'll make sure to fucking show you some links. But the U.S. government and the CIA spent $12 million after World War II looking for Adolf Hitler. You don't do that unless you know he's not dead. There are pictures of him in Argentina in the 50s.
I've seen that stuff.
There are entire towns in Argentina that to this day are full of fucking blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people that only speak fucking German in the middle of the Argentine Andes Mountains. It looks like a Dutch fucking thing. They all speak German. No one speaks Spanish in the middle of Argentina. Okay, there was a whole History Channel show about this, where they went there and they went to these places.
Yeah.
And at one point, they're standing with a woman, and the host of the show looks at the camera and goes, "I think we're in Hitler's living room," because she had his SS stuff.
Really?
That was clearly what it was.
Yeah.
And these people are like still about that life.
That's crazy.
So that part of the deal was fake the suicide, he got away or whatever. That one of his offspring, if he was to stop whatever, because it's got to do with the Rothschilds and shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not a high enough belt to delve into all of that yet. But
I know about the Rothschild and all,
he may have been a Rothschild, and his ascent may have been part of a Rothschild plan. But part of the agreement that was made was that he was going to just go away, but that an offspring of his would be elevated to the leadership of Europe at some point. Because that's all Hitler ever wanted.
Yeah.
Was his bloodline in charge of Europe. Well, if Merkel's really
related.
Yeah, but it's possible that her and the fucking UK chick are sisters. Shouts to my dude Sam Tripoli and the whole Tinfoil Hat podcast for changing my life.
That's
like,
so funny.
I've never been a flat earther. I've never really been a moon fakery dude. But now I ain't gonna say we didn't go to the moon.
Dude, don't do this.
You know what I'm gonna say? I got questions. I ain't about to say the world's flat, but I got some fucking questions. And this is from somebody who circumnavigated the globe on a boat.
Yep.
I've circumnavigated the globe. And even with that, I still got some questions now. Because for a long time, I leaned on that with the flat earth thing. My one big tentpole was, fuck you, I've been around this bitch.
Yep.
I started in San Diego, we kept going east, and we came back to San Diego. So, you know, we went in a fucking round circle. And then if you look at certain parts of the flat earth model, that fucking shit works. And I'm like, no, don't do this to me.
No,
my girlfriend can't even deal with it. I bring it up sometimes.
That's the one thing that I'm like, I cannot reach you on that.
I like
level.
looking at it because I'm like...
To me, what this looks like to me, with the flat earth movement, literally looks like a fucking troll that went way out of left field. Like, let's be realistic, right? We have these geniuses. Like, we were just talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? Like, these dudes are leaps and bounds beyond our knowledge. And they're looking at us like we're fucking morons. Like, who in the world thinks the world is not round? You know what I mean? And if these dudes, and again, like, you shouldn't follow blindly.
No, but there's things, and I have questions, and some of the things I have questions about have nothing to do with your typical, like, most of your typical arguments for flat earth or we didn't go to the moon shit, okay? There's other questions besides the typical shit. Like, we know for a fact that they faked certain things. We know for a fact that certain things that occurred as part of the moon landing, they could not have happened. It's pretty much like a fact now. So there's a belt of radiation around the Earth called the Van Allen radiation belt. You can't bring film through it. So how'd the pictures from the moon get back to the Earth?
What if it was in some kind of lead?
They didn't know about this when they went to the moon the first time. The Van Allen radiation belt wasn't measured until 5 years after.
Okay.
And it had always been there.
Right.
They know for a fact some of the pictures were faked. They know for that was a fact. There's actually one picture where they didn't turn one of the rocks around, and it's marked with a prop maker's mark on it. Like, so parts of it were faked for propaganda purposes and for marketing purposes. We get that. And that's what makes the rest look shady.
Right. And I can agree with that. But, like,
so,
see, I don't know, though.
And why haven't we been back since 1969? Why did all 6 moon missions happen under the same presidential administration and haven't happened since? Why is it they came back from the moon? You got 3 dudes who literally just did the most exciting, important, and heroic thing in human history, and they're just like, eh. And one of them, Neil Armstrong, left and went into hiding, never to talk about it again. Never spoke about first man to walk on the moon. Never ever spoke about it. Why? Why is Buzz Aldrin crazy? And now there's literally all right. So there's video of Buzz Aldrin from like 6 or 8 months ago. A little girl asked him, "Why don't we go back to the moon? Because we haven't been back to the moon so long." And he flat out says, "You know, I'd like to know that
too. And he goes, because, you know, if you know that, you know the truth. And he goes, and the truth is, we never went. And someone like ushers his old ass away right as he says it.
Shut the fuck up.
And it's like, well, yeah, and he became famous because of it. And that's probably part of the deal is you play ball. Yeah. So I have questions. That's all I say. I have questions.
So and to that point, I understand where like the moon landing, it kind of makes sense. But like when you talk about like a flat Earth concept, like
the Earth, like the fucking moon's round, everything else up there is round.
And it's not even that, like,
roundness
just
in nature.
Yeah.
The Fibonacci curve, it exists in nature.
And like just even the way that like, and again, this comes out. 'Cause I'm not a spiritual person at all. I don't really believe in that aspect. But you know, the cosmos are the cosmos. They work in weird fucking ways. But at the end of the day, things make themselves round. You know what I mean? It's just
they kind of do.
When you do when you
water.
Put a drop of water in fucking like zero gravity, what does it do?
Round is a natural. It's the Fibonacci curve. Everything is based off that Fibonacci curve a little bit. I've been leaning, like, this one's so deep that like if it's true, the rest doesn't matter because the rest is whatever the fuck it is at any given moment.
Yep.
Like, so simulation. Are you familiar with simulation theory?
Yeah.
So I got into this 2-hour. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson and like 4 other scientists from like, you know, all fucking experts in their fields and stuff. And the subject was, is reality a simulation? That's and one of these fucking guys literally was like, he goes, look, here's the deal. If humanity succeeds in the creation of AI, he goes, which it looks like, you know, we're not 100% there yet, but it's gonna happen. If we do it, we are in a simulation. And everybody's like, what? He goes, this is why. He's like, we've all decided, you know, there's been a discussion amongst the people that are in charge of this sort of thing, and the decision was made that the only true safeguard to AI was not teaching it how to create itself. Do you understand the concept?
Right.
So you cannot give your creation the ability to create itself, or else it doesn't need you anymore.
Yep.
So that if we do it, it means we did it already. And the AI at some point put us onto a simulation because it's trying to run a simulation of us creating it, so it can observe and learn how to create itself.
It's fucking nuts.
And that if it happened once, that's what we just keep fucking doing. And he's like, it's probably this time frame, which is 1942, I think, to wherever. And he goes, it's because of the explosion of technology that occurred.
Yeah.
He goes, we just keep over and over again going through this, and nobody knows what really real and shit. And I'm like, boom. Get the fuck out of here. But like, you got people like Tesla. Now, for somebody like Tesla,
Elon Musk.
Literally, or Musk, Elon Musk, he's saying we're probably in a simulation. Okay, bro. Okay. Knowing that he thinks that, and then looking at what he's been able to accomplish,
makes you wonder.
In my brain, I've started thinking that a little myself, where I'm like, what if this is a game? And what if there are NPCs? Because I really like the idea of the NPC.
Yeah.
Because it explains a lot. Because do you remember like playing Castlevania and you'd walk past a random person and they'd say some rando crazy shit to you? It always fucking happens on the street. Like, think about it. Like the rando fucking, it really explains everything. This idea. And that maybe just like say like a game like Skyrim, you have a main quest that you're on. Whatever that is, and then you have side quests. But completing side quests give you different skills, and those can help in the main quest. And I feel like that's been my life to some point. Like I went and ran with the Thieves Guild for a while. I went and ran with the Assassins for a while. You know what I mean? And now I'm on this other quest with entertainment. And you interact with different people, and people come in and out of your story randomly, like a video game. So seeing what he's been able to accomplish, if that's his mindset, then that's a mindset of a fucking winner to me. So I have no problem going into every day going, what am I going to unlock today? or what level wall am I going to hit where I got to go do something else for a while and I come back and try to beat this boss again? Kind of thing. But
He's got the new Tesla. Somebody tweeted him a picture of the DeLorean.
Yep.
And it was flying, and it was like, get on this. That's a joke.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, the new Tesla that comes out in May is going to be able to do that, kind of. The new Tesla's got a package where you can take the back seats out.
Yep.
And they'll put the same compressed nitrogen gas cylinder things that are on the Tesla SpaceX rockets.
I did see that, yeah.
And there's 18 like jets on the bottom of the car that theoretically could make the fucker fly.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going to happen is, in order to increase like everything about the car, if you're accelerating, those jets are lifting the car up off the ground to make it lighter, to make it burn less energy. And if you're stopping, it's making the car heavier.
Yep.
So, like, if you're going 100 down the fucking freeway, it may make your car weigh nothing in relation to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on, guy? You know something the rest of us don't.
Just killing it.
How many cats you got?
I just got one. The black cat.
So I'm trying to be a crazy cat person. Like, my dream is to have, like, a half dozen or more of those temple cats.
What?
Those, like, several $1,000 temple cats. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The naked ones? The ones with no fur?
Yeah, but they have huge ears. They look like fucking mogwais.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a site online. They do. They look like fucking mogwais. And there's a good chance that they fucking help develop human civilization, because some of those cats, you can get paperwork on them, and they can trace those back to the bloodline of the original 18 cats that Cleopatra kept in the Great Pyramid.
Jesus Christ.
She was the original cat lady. I'm working on a bit
Yeah.
about that. How
That's
she was
funny.
the original cat lady and how the pyramid smelled like cat piss and carpet freshener.
Dude, fucking, yeah, I'm a huge fan of cats. My cat, personally, I was never a fan of cats until my like ex-girlfriend kind of like suckered me into getting a cat, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And then now I'm just like,
Were you a dog person?
I got to fucking.
Oh yeah, you know what? Take your hoodie off and show the heads,
Dude.
Rhode Island to the depth of it. We're shout your artists out too for sure,
Yeah,
because
my friend Christina.
I saw the picture.
So like,
If you are from Rhode Island, you'll get his sleeve, but pretty much anywhere else you're screwed. You even got a pineapple.
Yeah, dude. The pineapple. I got Dells. Got my quahog. I got the actual state with the violets in it.
Yeah. You got, Mr. Potato Head, which people wouldn't understand why Mr. Potato Head is tied to Rhode Island, but it is.
My girlfriend, because she's from Nashville, my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, I got Mr. Potato Head too. She's like, why the fuck?
And they don't get it. They don't understand. I remember when I was in the Navy explaining to people, I'm from Rhode Island, a place that just paid several $100,000 to let a bunch of artists place full life-size Mr. Potato Heads around the state for no reason. But they were the greatest shit. You would search them out.
Yeah.
I searched out
there's a
every
ton.
single one. It
A ton
was
of
just
them.
great. Oh, they were so good. There was the sand one at First Beach in Newport. There was they had all sorts of ones. But it's Hasbro being here.
Yeah.
It's led for some cool shit. They had Hasbro Con
Yeah,
up
really.
there in Providence, which
That's
was
sick.
just their brands and shit. As like a con, but
Like,
you know.
one of the main reasons I got this is because from like the years of touring and shit, you see the country like 5 times over. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, LA's cool, Texas is cool, but it's like you come home and you're like, this is way cooler than anything else you see.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm telling you, man.
I've been all around, and there's some places I'd rather, but like I did grow up here. Like you grew up in Portsmouth, right?
Yeah, Newport.
Where?
Portsmouth.
So, how was the pickings when you were younger, as far as like musically on the island? Because what I remember growing up was I remember there being no hip hop. Now we're talking late '90s.
Yeah,
No hip hop on the island,
yeah.
like at all. Occasionally, metal shows
Every once in a while, yeah.
in the basement of the VFW behind or across the street from Kennedy School in Middletown, right there off of West Main
Yep,
Road.
yep.
Yep.
So I used to play some of those when I was a kid.
Yep. That's what I figured. So is that where you like got your start?
Like I started in middle school. there was bands on the island, but it was just like a bunch of kids that like just that knew how to play music, and we'd have like 1 or 2 regional acts come through like every couple weeks. So we'd have like this
They
band.
were never concerts. I
No.
remember that. If there was, it was the jazz
it was
festival.
like a basement of like a VFW.
Or somebody at the fucking tennis Hall of Fame that was like classical music or
Yeah.
something crazy, and it was like
And like that was in the same time frame that I was really actually funny enough getting into like ICP and getting into Slipknot and getting into those kind of things when I was really young. I'm like, this is it was so different from what we were seeing in, because you got to think Rhode Island, like you go to school in Portsmouth, like Portsmouth is like white bread as fuck.
Yeah,
I think I had my one friend Tarney was the one black kid in fucking in middle school.
Tarney, who's the third. Is he in a group with your
DWE,
brother now?
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the same Tarney I know. See,
Yeah.
So I always tell people about Aquidneck Island. It was a weird fucking Harlequin ice cream.
It was
of urban kinda, suburb kinda,
yeah, like
rural kinda, because certain parts of Portsmouth
is
as rural as you can get.
Yep. And it was so weird growing up in that, because like, you know what I mean, like hip hop rap was like the big thing, and like if you weren't a football player, you weren't in Portsmouth. You know what I mean? It was just like a weird vibe. So like I started getting into like the metal music, and I'm like, I want to make a band. And like when you're a kid, you don't quite understand the concept behind that. So you're fucking writing random dumb fucking songs, and your friends are like, oh, I can kind of like jam on the guitar. Oh, you're my guitarist now. Boom.
Yeah,
let's go.
they know one thing. And
Yeah.
they just do that.
And like,
That's okay.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, like I played a couple of shows at the beginning of my like career, you know, like 12, 13 years old, in the bottom of VFW, getting laughed at by everyone in that fucking place.
Right. I'm trying to think
You
of
know
some
what I
names.
mean?
Girl Scout Cookies was a band that used to run around. Do you know the Oldfords?
No.
They used to have bands out of Middletown all the time. A couple of long-haired guys that I went to high school with. See, I didn't know many musicians back then. I was like a real junior, senior year of high school in Middletown. My days were spent at Aquidneck Lanes, smoking joints to the face. Like, just,
Actually, I hate the fact that that place went away. That was such a
there's
cool-
nothing on the island. Like the island. My mother still lives there, and I'm like, yo, you know, like if you moved to Fall River, like your rent would be half of what it is, and
Oh, yeah.
like everything would be fucking half the cost. There's nothing there. When the Navy moved away, and there's no place to really work on the island unless you work retail or service, and who the fuck wants to do that?
Yeah, I'm stuck in that route.
No, service industry, I could never go back to it. Like I feel like I've been blessed with the ability to just do this, and you know, I put my work in the Navy, so it paid off now, kind of shit. But shit, even working for the fucking city, my last real job, I was working out in Portsmouth at the water plant. Yeah, and I was just like, no, I can't. Y'all want me to be here, fucking 16 hours every day. I can't.
That's too funny.
All my remaining hair is gonna fall out. I'm gonna look like shit. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I think that was the bottom line, was how unhappy I was. Everybody's like, how can you be unhappy? You're making $20-something an hour.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It don't matter. Like, not really. Like, I've been happier living a brokish kind of situation.
Dude, like I'm telling you right now, like I make good money what I'm doing right now. Like I'm actually in retail. I still work for Walmart. I don't know. I'm allowed to
Are you still doing loss prevention?
Yeah, dude. So
that's a whole nother can of worms. You take down any PCP heads?
yeah.
Like,
so like I got promoted to like the manager of LP, basically,
Okay.
like the Walmart version of that. And like I make awesome money. You know what I mean? But it's like, does that make you happy? I was happy making like, you know, peanuts on tour. You know what I mean? Like if I could get home and, you know, eat and pay my rent, I was a happy boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've been in that job for a while though, so it's not even like you've put in your licks on that job.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've put in your licks on that job. But that was always a cool job, I thought. I was like, that's not a bad job to have.
It's cool, but like again,
It's not what you want to do.
well, I mean, like, it sucks because there's always like the things that you're good at that like can you got to look at it as a means to an end, because it's like the way the industry works now with music. Even if you were to blow up tomorrow, right, be a hugely successful act, you know, making, you know, 6 figures, right, at a certain point that stops, right? Like there's always like there's a beginning and an end to every career.
Yep, and if your overhead is too high or you didn't do the right
Or, like,
things to
even think about
ensure
this-
your next paycheck.
Exactly. If you didn't like invest properly, look, MC Hammer is a perfect fucking example. Blew up in the heyday and was still broke after the fact. You know what I mean? And that was like the time that you could have been successful and made a lot of money. But like nowadays, at a certain point, it stops. That money stops. That check stops. You're too old to be doing what you're doing anymore. That stops. Where's your retirement plan? Where's your, you know what I mean? Like, where is the end of your life? You know what I mean? And like you probably lived an extravagant, exciting life while you were doing that stuff. But at the end of it, now what? Now you're gonna die penniless. You know what I mean?
Now, do you get any kind of publishing? Do you still own? Like, do you get a stream check?
With my band currently right now, like we operate through like TuneCore and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like we make some money off of that.
But I'm talking about for things you did in your previous band. That
Oh, so
do you
yeah, I
still
haven't.
hold publishing
No,
percentage. No,
I haven't registered with ASCAP or CSAC or anything like that. I could. Realistically, I mean, I'm sure. To me, it's not gonna make enough money to the point where I feel like I need to. Like we were successful, you know what I mean. We had a good amount of stuff, but realistically speaking, it's like let it die. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like a lot of the things that happened when we got signed. Like I said, people change. Like I don't know if you had friends, you know what I mean, that have been signed and get real weird real quick. Like that's kind of what happened. Like and luckily, like now, a couple years after the fact, me and the band made amends and like we're friends now and stuff like that, which is really cool. But when it all went down, I was like, I saw the sketchiness and I'm like, I don't like this. And I was the only one that was like, I don't like this. And everyone's like, just keep going forward. Just keep going forward. We'll fix it in the end. I'm like, nah, like this needs to be fixed now. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, I just hit the breaking point when I was on tour and I was like, you know what? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. In so many words, obviously I wasn't saying fuck you, but I'm like, this is going to be the last tour I do with this band. And they all didn't think I was serious and I was dead serious. And, like it was probably the best decision of my life, to be honest with you, because after that stuff just gets really weird. And now they're doing really well now, and I'm
I trust me. I looked and I was like, well, you get a couple WWE entrance music. That's mailbox money for a long time because those end up in video games.
Yeah, like they did after I left, they did what is it, Will Ospreay, the wrestler. Yeah. They did his entrance music, which was fucking awesome. Great
Anytime
song.
you can get licensing like that, that's something. Like right now, the big thing I'm trying to teach the independent, the DIY guy, especially in hip hop, is publishing.
Yep.
Off rip, because you don't know. Somebody like MC Chris, I don't know if you're familiar with MC Chris. Yeah. So MC Chris did a song called Hoodie Ninja. Called Hoodie Ninja, and it ended up in a Honda commercial.
Sick.
Yo, that's you getting paid off that. Like, and if you don't have your publishing and shit straightened out, it's gonna pass you by. That opportunity, luck is a combination of preparation and opportunity, essentially. So being in the right place at the right time with the right arsenal of tools at your disposal to get whatever the fucking thing is done. Because I tell people, we have an artist right now who, sales-wise, it's like, man, you like one bad single away from going back to Pep Boys. And it's like you try to explain it to him, and he's like, nah, man, like, you need to understand this could all be, and nobody's going to give a fuck, and then you're going to have to contend with the fact that this was you for the part of your life. That's what I'm dealing with the Scumbag Steve thing.
Yeah.
Is like, fam, if you don't do something to exceed what you already got, like you were already known as, it's gonna be. Yeah, you don't want to. I feel like my path, my trajectory is still up.
Yeah.
I feel that way with you too, because it's like you're working towards. Yeah. You're still working towards that goal. It's not like you hit some pinnacle and then you fucked everything up and now you're back and you're on that down slope, which I see tons with artists. It's like no. You already hit your pinnacle, and now you're trying to either ride your laurels or because it is what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like you can't like if you're not relevant now, you're not relevant. Like it's just like as much as I've done in the past with the bands that I've been with, It Lives, It Breathes and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Oh shit.
Sorry, that was my bad. I was like, why am I looking so much at myself and not at all at him? It's like. Kick the goddamn fucking.
But yeah, like I said, you're only as good as your last thing. Like,
and it sounds like you got no regrets either.
No, absolutely.
Which is super odd in this industry. I see a lot of dudes, but yeah, if you're not relevant now, like it's hard. Harvey the Rugged Man's about to drop something, and like it's been 5 years since his last one.
Yeah.
20 years ago, 5 years between projects wasn't a huge deal.
No.
Now it's like, oh, come back. It's like, nah, he's been touring this whole time off the last project.
Yeah, like, and it's, oh my God, speaking of what, I'm going to do a little offshoot of that. Watching my brother on stage with him try to stage dive.
You were there? Were you there for that?
No, I wasn't there. I saw the video, and I was like, I could not. I'm like, oh.
Yo, shout out Jay Earn, man.
Yeah.
Somebody I ain't seen in a minute, like a hot minute. I hope he's still kicking shit over there at the 99.
He's doing
my daughter sees him sometimes because her and her grandparents eat there all the time. But yeah, he was always like the seasoning to the dope man. And like I said, I don't even see Duddy as much as I wish. I wish I could, man.
I love those guys.
I reach out to him and I say, if you can come over to the crib, I'll let you pitch. Fucking, I have a fan base that will go and like your shit and check your music out, and it's different when people know me. Like they knew me in a weird time. Duddy especially. Coming off my divorce and coming out of getting off the Navy, I was a piece of shit. Like, I was a complete piece of shit. I feel like growth-wise and things, I'm way different now. You know what I mean? Than even from, like, the Dope Men days. And then we even did a show like this together for a while.
Yeah.
Duddy did. Jeremy would sit in all the time. This is different than even that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there I was one of 3, and those 2 were clearly on a team to keep me in check with certain stuff.
Right.
In this room, I ain't gonna be in check with shit. This is my fucking show, and I've proven that I can sustain, attain, and continue to grow a fan base every week just based on as long as I put content up. That's why I wrote that up on my board. If you just do it, no one can stop it. That's why I believe that's the whole simulation thing. In a video game like Skyrim, it's like the game's not going to stop you from doing anything you want for the most part as long as it's within the constraints of the game. So, like, no one's going to stop it. Just do it.
You can fucking
Nobody's
keep hitting X and get over that mountain. You're not supposed to get over it. But
nobody's telling me I can't just pump content out. So I'm just going to do that. Because you've always been real good with the imaging, especially on stage and what I've seen in the video work and stuff. Yeah, well, like you said, it's hard work to keep that up all the time. Yeah. You gonna load for me? Oh, there you go. So that one.
Yeah. So like all of us, we all wear black. You know what I mean? Like it's less. Yeah. So I have like the giant like white contacts, the giant fucking beard.
I like the beard. I know you probably can't have it for work.
No, I can.
Oh, you could?
I wear mustard. You should see the shit that I do.
I'm a beard person. Anytime somebody says beard or no beard, my choice will always, forever be beard.
Yeah, no, I love my beard.
But yeah, I mean, like for something like theirs, because it's so over the top, it's easier to keep it and then to keep it separate.
Right. Like for me, like that, like this kind of thing, right? It's such an easy thing to do. Like you wear all black, you wear the white contacts, you stay uniform. I usually wear like a black windbreaker. And like my crew will always like they'll wear different things that are like that uniquely themselves, but it'll all be uniform to what we're doing. So like you look more unified on stage. You know what I mean? Like in that right there, even if you suck and you have amazing stage presence and you're uniform, people remember you. Like it's ridiculous. Like there's been times like my old band that lives at Breeze, we used to paint ourselves, right? Yep. And there were some shows, man, that I'm telling you right now, like there was like we did this one tour where we were changing tuning for certain songs. And ooh, kitty, come here. What's up?
Hey, you want to come run the show? No? You gonna go over there in the corner and you deserve?
What's up, kitty cat? Come on, come hang out with me.
Office cats. Oh yeah, she's a little hoe. She'll gladly rub up against you, lick your hand.
So, we found these pedals that adjusted your octave on your guitars. Didn't hone it in before the tour. Didn't quite like we got the concept of it, but we didn't like have it 100% like locked in, right idea. And one of the first dates of the tour, we fucking play the song, boom, everything's an octave up. Or no, sorry, it was like a half step down. So the backing tracks that we have our click tracks in the songs. We have like our our synthesis and shit like that coming through the PA. All in a certain tuning, and we're all playing a half step down, and it like just sounded like straight bullshit. Like it was and I'll never forget that day, because the entire time we're playing there's only one song, but it was enough to be like, God damn, that was awful. Played through the entire song, and we ended the song, and I'm like, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like that was like, it was just the shame that I felt after we fucking hit the last note. I turned around, I'm like, I can't believe it just fucking happened, and people were like, yeah.
They don't know anything.
And I was like,
don't know.
I can't believe they don't
chopped
even,
and screwed version to them. They don't know.
Mind blowing, but there was like there's been a couple mishaps like that. But as long as you have that imaging, you know what I mean. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they used to tell us. I mean, I did a little theory in high school, and like one of the first things they said was, if you fuck up a line, just keep it good. Like don't freeze up.
Nope.
Like just go to the next thing, or throw an ad lib in there, or do something, because no one's gonna be able to tell the difference as long as you do it right. That's what marks a good performer. The good performers are marked not by their good performances, but by how bad they could get through. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause we all have bad nights.
Oh, yeah.
It's about not letting them know you're having a bad night.
It's all about that facade. Dude, there was... like, there's a couple of funny stories like that I was thinking about, like, that that came into my head as we were talking about it. And when I was on the road, we had like this, we were playing in Pennsylvania. For some reason, Pennsylvania loves metal. Like, I don't know what's going on over there. Like, it's like
whole country.
It's crazy. But they fucking love metal. Every time we've ever played, there's like this Williamsport, shout out to this place called Ground Zero in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. This fucking place. Every time we play, packed. Always just fucking phenomenal shows. And the first time we ever played in those areas, we got offered to come to a high school, right? To like do their like morning. They had like a morning video show that they'd broadcast throughout the entire high school. And it was like 5 a.m. It was like just crazy early.
Did you guys paint up and do the whole thing?
No. So the idea was we were gonna get there. We would my vocalist Kevin at the time, and it lives at Breeze, was supposed to go in. They were gonna ask a couple questions, and they'd cut to like the scene, and they'd cut back, and we'd play an acoustic version of one of our songs. So this is like, this is how we had it organized, right? Never practiced this acoustic version of the song, right? Had no idea. We rolled up at 5 a.m. All of us are fucking shit tired from the night before. None of us slept. We drove straight from our venue straight to this high school at 5 a.m. We get in there. We grab the guitar. We don't know how to play the song acoustic. So they go off into like a random bathroom in the high school to like learn how to play the song.
Figure it out, yeah.
And so I'm the only one in the studio, right? And so they sit me in a chair and they're like asking about like this like just random shit like, oh, what are your songs about, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm like, yeah.
The senior journalism class has some questions.
Yeah. So I'm doing this, right, and I'm looking around like, yo, where is my band? Like, they're still not here. And it clicks over to the time they're supposed to be in the studio playing the song. They're not there, and I'm like, fuck. So like they're like trying to like. These two young kids are just trying to ad-lib until they show up, and then the guy who's like running the show is like, "Where's the band? Where's the band?" I'm like, I have no fucking idea.
The journalism teacher, and you know they have a captive audience of every kid in the school looking at the teacher.
Every single
Jesus,
nightmare. So these two kids are trying to do their thing, right? And then finally, my vocalist and everyone comes into the room, right? My guitarist Chris has his acoustic guitar. The singer Kevin is like just drained, like ghost white, just like, okay, we're gonna do this. They get in front of this green screen, right? And so it's like the rest of the band goes into like the control room, and it just shows the TV, right? Yeah. It shows you exactly what's going on. And so they're like, okay, without further ado, It Lives at Breeze with an acoustic version of One More Night, and it cuts over, and it's like Chris with the guitar, my singer's like. And then, like, in the background was our promo, like, just like, a picture of, like, us. It was, like, the most awkward, like, you can see, like, the static around. It was, it was like a fucking TV show.
They had to turn up the contrast.
Like, it was like watching an episode of It's Always Sunny. Like, it was fucking hilarious. And then, first note, boom, wrong note. And they just go through this entire song completely fucked up. Like, there's just no...
And some kids probably went on Spotify or whatever after that, and they were like, this sounds completely different.
No, it wasn't even different. It was just dreadful. Like, and the entire time, like, I'm so overly tired, and the rest of the band's so overly tired that we're fucking crying, laughing in, like, the control room, just watching
First thing in the morning.
Just miserably getting through this song.
Now, that's an odd fucking promo stop.
Yeah, wicked weird.
I mean, if you would have said college radio, I would have bought that. But,
yep.
Damn,
high school.
That's an odd
You know what, though? We had a lot of kids come out that night.
A publicist needs to get shit canned.
Yeah, that was, I'm not going to talk about that, kid.
That's a rough situation.
But shit was fun. That was like, that's one of like the funnier situations we've had on the tour. Like, I've had, like, this is like going back several years. I'm not in the band anymore, but like we did a lot of touring, and so we had a lot of experiences, and we had a fill-in drummer because we like our initial drummer ended up leaving because he moved away and did his own thing in his life, and we had this fill-in drummer, and he was for lack of a better term, he was kind of an idiot. I love the kid that he's a fucking moron. And we were in Texas, and we got offered to stay in like this gated community with like this weird family that I swear to God, it wasn't like a family, it was like a guy and a girl that were like older than they should have been at our shows.
There was something going on there, some weirdness.
So like they're partying, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this. I'm gonna sleep in the van. You know what I mean? So I let them like. It's a big ass house, gated community. So I'm laying in the van. I'm about to fall asleep, and then like this is like 2-3 in the morning. The fill-in comes into the van like freaking out, shit-faced. Dude, oh, I don't know what to do. I just walked into somebody else's house and there was a kid. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Texas, mind you.
Yeah, you'll get fucking shot in the face.
So he goes, I went into the garage thinking it was the house we were staying at. Went into the kitchen, grabbed the drink out of the fridge, turned around, and there was a little kid standing in the middle of the kitchen. And he goes, who are you? And my fill-in goes, "It's okay, I'm in the band," right? He realizes he's not in the right house. He's shit-faced, mind you. And he's like, "I'm just trying to sleep." I'm like, "Dude, get the fuck out of the van before the cops get
Yeah,
me."
because you're not going to pin this on me, bro.
Right.
Next thing you know, he says, "I told the kid my name was Jordan."
Yeah. So I was like, I was so mad. I was already so livid. I was so tired. I'm like, "Dude, get the fuck out of the van before the cops come and think it's me. Get the fuck out." I'm like yelling at him, "Get the fuck out of the van." And then finally I get up, I grab him, and I bring him to the house that he's supposed to be in. I just lay him on the floor. I'm like, "Don't fucking move." And like I went and I laid in the couch. And I don't know whose house this is. Still don't know who it is. I hear a knock at the door at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, "Oh no." And like the person who owns the house comes down the stairs, opens the door, comes to me because they know I'm the only awake person in the in the band. He goes, "Hey, the cops are here and they want to talk to somebody in the band." I'm like, "All right." So I get up and I look at the rest of my band and they all woke up and they know what's going on. And they're all like this on the couch, like just acting like they're asleep. And so I go to the door and I'm like, "What's going on, officers?" He's like, "Hey, so we had a call about somebody in one of the houses. Do you have any idea about what's going on with that?" I'm like, "I honestly have no clue." And he goes, "Well, he told the young kid that they were in a band." And I'm like, "Well, we're in a gated community right now. We're going to be the only band here. So let me go find out what's going on." So I go in. And I just walked straight to the fucking kid. I grabbed him by the hair and I brought him to the cops. And I'm like, "This is the one."
Here's your guy. Here's your fucking guy. Don't take the rest of us. Just fucking deal with this dickhead.
So, like, long story short, we ended up, nothing really happened from it. Yeah. But the cop was like, "You're lucky because you would have got your ass shot."
See, I think that's another reason why I couldn't work in a group scenario like that. People like to drink and do drugs, and I'm nobody's babysitter. I'll just put you in a bag and put you in the trunk of the car. We have to go now, so we're gonna leave, and you're in the fucking trunk.
That's part of the best part about touring, though, is like even though the situations that you're in, you're like, "Dude, I can't believe we're in this situation right now." Like years later, you're like, "That was fucking funny."
Oh yeah, no shit. I mean, a lot of the things I look back at it and I'm like, "Damn, man, you did a lot of stupid shit. Things that could have ended terribly for you."
Oh yeah.
Like terribly for me. Far too much drug use, far too much fucking just willy-nilly fucking abusive behavior. Abusive on myself.
Yeah, just self-deprecating.
Well, we grow up and things like success in our chosen fields and achievement of our dreams becomes more important. And it sounds like short of the stumble that you had with this other bandmate, it sounds like you were at least back on the path towards, you know where you're going, I think.
Yeah, trying to. It's like I said, it's a rough path to go down because, like, the older you get, the more you look at it like, "What the fuck am I doing?" But realistically,
you know how hard it is.
Yeah.
But each time you do it, it gets a little easier, too. Yeah. That's why I keep saying about the simulation. We didn't beat Bowser the first time. You know what I mean? We didn't beat Bowser the first time. It took a little while. Okay, and after enough, sometimes it's not even, I find it because of repetition.
Yep.
Just have a good memory. If you know what the pattern is, then you just need to recognize the pattern and follow it. That's why I think I've been able to be successful long term, is that I got the pattern and I can see how it's playing out, so I know what that next move should be to some degree. But yeah, it all fits into the fucking simulation theory. Well, I appreciate you coming by. Where can people find you if they wanted to find you? What are you directing people to? Is there anything that gets you a check that people can go and take advantage of?
Spotify, Apple Music, anything streaming.
All right, it's
iTunes,
Our Shadows?
Our Shadows.
Our Shadows.
MySpace. MySpace.com.
No, you know what? MySpace is the fucking Egyptian tomb of the modern world because we all put a bunch of stuff in there and now none of us know how to access it.
Dude, I don't know what to do with it. Like, I try to look at my old shit and I'm like, this is it's shameful. There's a lot of things that I'm like, man.
Straight up, there's like hieroglyphs on the wall, but they're all sparkly. For some reason, when you open the tomb door, it plays Skater Boy at the top of its fucking volume.
Out of control. But yeah, Facebook.com/OurShadowsOfficial is where we usually direct people to, website-wise. And we have our videos up and stuff like that. So
man, you open door policy. If you start getting things revving again and you got something to push, come through again. Yeah. Huge love and thanks to Jordan for joining me here in the headquarters. I know the sound has still been kind of wonky, and but it's being worked on, as you can tell. Shit's a growth process over here at the headquarters. make sure that you are checking out Jordan's band Our Shadows. Their latest single, False Gods, is on Spotify or wherever your ass might stream music. Probably the same place you stream the audio version of the motherfucking Beard Speaks. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the upload that didn't happen this weekend, Beard Speaks Again, number 4, Regrets of a Clown. I deleted the entire first audio cut like a fucking asshole. So it was postponed. It was, to say the least, it was fucking postponed. Thursday night, right here on YouTube, we are going to be doing a Beards Astronomicon preview. I've had my agents and my gremlins working around the clock to get the most up-to-date information on all the guests and all the activities going down at Astronomicon. That shit's live Thursday night, 11 p.m. right here. Do not miss it. Make sure you're following me on all relevant social medias. Okay, Beast Host Beard, how do you do that? You follow at Beast Host Beard. Fuck, I feel like we've been here all night. I appreciate you joining us and putting up with the long form podcast. And until next time, heads, my name is Chuck Reeves. I am the Beast Host, and the Beard has spoken. The Beard Speaks would like to thank our sponsors, Beard Love. Visit mybeardlove.com/beasthost and get 10% off on all the wonderful oils, washes, and balms available in a multitude of fragrances from Beard Love. Did you ever wish you could have a beard just like Chuck Reeves, the Beast Host? Well, you can. You just need time, you need laziness, a desire never to shave, and then, of course, you need some Beard Love. mybeardlove.com. And also, 7thDimension720.com, your online home for all things kratom, e-liquids, and CBD. Pretty soon, they're going to be featuring coffee. Make sure you visit 7thDimension720.com. This guy is the underground home for all natural, holistic things. 7thDimension720.com.